thumbs up.
She's in Maine right now.
Oh,
Is she on vacation?
No, she's run up to Maine to visit her sister, watch her sister play sports.
fantastic.
Soccer?
Nice.
Wonderful. All right, we are recording.
We are.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Monday, September 29th, Park and Rec Commission meeting here at the Rosemary Recreation Complex. We do have a quorum and we possibly could expect 2 more commissioners showing up. I know that they have other commitments that they might be running late from, but we do have a quorum, so we can have an official meeting and vote on any and everything that we need to vote on tonight's agenda. Going through the agenda, open forum, public comment, as we are here in the smaller room here. We do not see anybody here in the room to ask any public comments. Do we have anybody online?
We do.
Fantastic. Let's now move on to meeting guests. We have no guests, so we are good to go on that one. Let us now jump into the director's report, and I will hand it over to Stacy and Hannah.
Hannah, can you see the director's report now? Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we'll go through some of this quickly. I added some things. I don't know if anybody read through them. It's very exciting. For me,
Of course.
Very exciting.
cause I have the jazz around.
Bring it
Fall
again.
programs are moving, so we did look, have you look at the numbers, so in what,
We got
less than 2 weeks' time, we went up $20,000 in our programs, which is pretty good. Our events are a little sluggish, but that's not surprising considering where we are, but, I expect Spooky Walk instead of 20, more like 700, which is what we had last year. Also, we would like to invite the commission to have a table at Spooky Walk once again,
Sure.
if they would like.
With that taking terms, this is 20.
That's what Dr. Cal's
Am I echoing, Hannah?
Not really.
Okay,
25th?
yes, October 25th.
Sorry.
And if anybody knows anybody that runs a petting zoo, we cannot find somebody to run a petting zoo.
Oh,
Everybody is booked.
Really?
Oh, they're booked.
They're all booked. They all wanna do it, but they're like,
You gotta
Can you do it a different day?
Exchange for day of service.
I will be there.
All right, capital,
September 25th. Actually, just quickly, I
not
can.
September.
October, excuse me. October, that's it. October 25th. I think it's great that we will have a table there, especially with all of the information going on right there. It would be great to be out in the public, so I know people have other commitments going on. I blocked off the date. I will be there that day.
What is it, what time? I believe Spooky Walk starts around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And is that right? I think it's like 10 to noon.
That's correct.
Can you make sure we have a table? Is that something we should bring? Like what?
Tennis court project, looking good. I forwarded you the updates. Those had better pictures than what I had, so.
The
Pictures
pictures,
look great.
they do, honestly, like I wasn't joking, that above picture
Yeah.
literally looked like the schematic that we had when we presented to town. It looks identical.
So the only thing that we are working on as far as we are concerned, which Tim, is part of the planning board's agreement with us was that we have to have signage before we can open. So we are working on signage in a few different places, but the person we're also working with is Amy Nielsen. Because of the new, she's our public information officer.
Sure.
That's not her real title. Yeah. She's the one that does the News You Need 'em and all that stuff. So we're working with her because of the new updated logo, and we're trying to make all of our signs the same for all of our part, like the same
Consistent.
template. Yep, so consistency. And the tennis in Claxton Field and tennis courts will be 2 of the first. So we are working with her. So as soon as we get those up, from Fast Signs, which has to date not been super fast, but we do have a backup vendor in Framingham that did the updated DeFazio sign, like the.
Oh, yes, the fields.
Yep.
Yep.
So we will work with them if necessary.
Quick question on that. I know that the school wanted to use the tennis courts for possible outdoor classrooms. Can they use them without the signs? Because the signs are more for us and the public than it is for the classroom activities. Could the high school still use said tennis courts if there are no particular signs up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I can just double check with Lee on that, but I think she'd be okay because it's a school facility.
During school, during school hours,
During
yes.
school hours only. The next capital project is Elliott School. This one is technically under DPW, but obviously Ed and I are working together. We have a meeting tomorrow to get some unfortunately rough budget numbers because he also has to put in construction. If Elliott goes through, this construction would be, as Ed likes to call it, the summer slammer, because it is a elementary school, so we try to get it in the summer. So this is gonna look at the playground. Some of the renderings are on this picture. The things in white are the things we are keeping. So the equipment in white, we already have. It's in white, just to show what we're gonna be adding.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you have to take those pieces out and then reinsert them, or can you technically build around
We'll
them?
build around.
Cool.
Yep.
This is gonna be poured in place.
It'll be poured in place, it'll be a playground. Ed and I are looking at turf for the artificial turf for the baseball, or the 60-foot diamond. And then at one point, we were looking at a sport court for the basketball court, but I think financially, this project is gonna sneak up into 3 million, if not over. Cause the playground's gonna be $1.5 million-ish, the field's gonna be $1.5 million-ish. Yeah. So we're gonna go with asphalt for the basketball court for now, make it, build it up, make it level, clean it up, paint it. And then we can always go back to that and if if the school wanted it, we can make it a separate project. Because we can coordinate off a little bit easier than the rest of it, so. We won't have the sport court, but that's okay because.
And so what's the timing on this, this project?
So, Ed will put in for construction money for this capital for FY '27, if it gets approved at town meeting, ideally we start construction July 1.
So town meeting would see it in May. We'd
Yes.
see that construction.
2026,
Yes.
hopefully
Okay.
approved,
Yeah.
starts.
It will
July
start July 1
2026.
and ideally start just go.
Is there any concern? I mean, I know they did the tennis courts and ran, in my opinion, just a little bit late, but I mean, that was one small project. For something like this, since you're really doing so much, it's an easier ask.
I don't think we'll run too late as long as everything's buttoned up before July 1, which it should be. Andrew Kimball is on the playground side, he's with O'Brien and Sons. We are trying to keep all of the playgrounds, all the school playgrounds under O'Brien and Sons, which is LSI Landscape Structure, Landscape Incorporated. For ease of maintenance, for all the school playgrounds, they are also on the state bid list, which means we can just get equipment quickly. I can just call them up and say, I need this
Just have to go
piece,
through,
and they
yep.
send it, so I don't have to like price out everything or get 3 quotes. So I think they'll be able to do it if I think the baseball field would be the toughest sell. But I think it's a pretty in and out, pretty easy, and we're also gonna work on getting a walking path around this.
Oh, nice.
Like we are for like most of our projects, we're adding that accessible walking path around.
That was the
School,
presentation that he made at town meeting.
So where is basketball? Basketball, is that
It's to the
part over
right.
there?
Right there.
Okay.
So the schools have been working with us. We have had joint meetings with schools, neighbor, user groups, PTCs, wellness teachers, so they love this, they love all of it. And our meeting tomorrow is gonna get a broader look at the numbers.
Wish we had this when my kids went today, so they didn't put a penny into the.
Well, that's why we're pushing for this, because it has not been.
We had
touched
to raise
in
money
many,
just
many
to do
years.
swings.
So,
Question,
and, yeah,
sorry. Question asked, we do a summer program at Elliott, that if this does go through, that happen any of our programming that we have at Elliott during the summer of next year, if the project.
so you have it halfway. We do our summer programs wherever building maintenance isn't doing work on the schools.
Okay,
So this would just be another reason we would move
sure.
to a different.
Okay.
We were here last year, but I also happen to know they're doing the HVAC this coming year,
They
so
will be there.
it's part of the reason we're pushing this soon, because then we can take out the whole school and we'll go over to ideally Broadman.
Okay.
But we have to jump around.
Understood.
Pollard School project, you guys have been immersed in this, and I'm sure you wanna talk about it later.
Yes, we'll
Unless
jump
you
into
wanna
that.
talk about it right now.
We'll go into that or discussion items.
The next couple are just some quick placeholders. Our October special town meeting will be Monday the 20th, which also I believe happens to be Jim's birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta think about that.
I'm gonna be 35.
Wow. We don't have anything on the docket, do we?
We're not scheduled that day because of town meeting.
No, I mean, like,
We're not.
for the, we don't
We're
have
scheduled
anything.
town, I'm sorry, no, we didn't.
It's also my husband.
Oh, it's a, wow.
It's a big
Really?
day.
Popular day.
You know, Mickey Mantle.
Let's go
Oh,
back.
Jesus, it's on
I'll tell him.
On this day.
Okay, moving on. Capital and operating budgets are due, so the capital budget, which is the conversation we need to have tonight from my standing, is due on October 10th. And then the operating budget, which is my general budget for all things, is due 2 weeks later on the 24th.
Seems so early.
It is that early?
Have they been pushing it?
He keeps sneaking it up on us. I know, right?
Make his job easier.
You can probably do it in his sleep.
I know, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Wow.
well, that's here every Sunday working.
There is no question.
Yeah.
No question how hard he works.
Here's some just quick financial numbers for you guys. So this was just up until the date for September that I pulled the numbers on, registration numbers, revenue, court badges, just for the 24 days, and then the revenue from court badges. Down below, we have our year-to-date, so January 1st through now. That is typical number of what we average about $1 million, a little less, a little more, depending on the year, but that is our intake.
One of the few revenue generating departments.
Yes.
Mhm.
Right, that's not generated by taxes.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Right.
And then the last thing is the employee spotlight, which, I believe is the reason why Grace has not have her camera on. However, everybody get ready, because it's gonna be employee or commissioner spotlight.
I love it.
So, because we're gonna spread the wealth, and I'm not saying I'm gonna send you the same, questions. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
One,
The request
Wow.
is a
This is
picture,
fabulous.
picture of yourself.
Love
and a
it. Grace is
picture-
on, right? Grace is on.
Grace is on,
Grace, nice picture,
and a
and a
picture
lovely story.
doing something park and rec, whatever that is.
Love
And she did ask
I'm
if,
going with golf.
if I have to.
She is a golf.
I'm going
Can
with
I
golf
get,
on that.
can I force my family into this picture? I said, absolutely.
That
So
is
who would they- who would these
fantastic.
people be
I have
for?
no idea.
Okay,
Hey, you wanna tell us who these people are, or?
just curious.
Mom, dad, and brother. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Go ahead. Grace, I couldn't hear anything.
It's my boyfriend and his family that I actually forced to be in it.
Even better.
What did she say?
His boyfriend and his family.
Does somebody in the family work for Titleist? That's why they all have the same hats, or?
Right?
No, we just all wanted to match apparently.
Well, fabulous. Well, very nice write-up. So
Very
thank
nice.
you for the info.
The rest of her family works in town, so we can just go hang out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, I'm like, this, I don't recognize, this is not, I'm like, this is not.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
an old picture. I don't get it.
One thing I will just add, and I know I've said this before, is that we do need to get an updated commission picture. That I know it's great to have Dave Chico on there, God rest his soul,
He's still on
but
our, is he still
he
on our?
is, but we need to get an updated commission
So that's-
picture, so
I
what
think
we will
he
do.
died in 2020.
I know. So we will pick a date in, say, November or December that we will all try and make, we all have to make, so all of us are in there.
Should we have like
We can wear
a
a-
blue shirt
don't we
and
have
white
a-
pants?
Don't we have a park?
We have
We
parking.
could-
We have park and rec jerseys, remember you
Exactly.
gave them out?
I think we need jackets though.
Vest.
If
Can
you
I get a
guys-
jacket?
Oh,
I think we'll have
wow.
a vest.
Vest.
I think I belong to a lot of.
Yeah.
I have a lot.
So we will work on a date, so I just want to prepare everybody that, you know, do your hair, especially you, Jim. Make sure, you know, the night. So,
Exactly. Kept on tight.
Uh,
go ahead, keep on
that
going.
is it for the director's report.
All right, fantastic. Hannah, anything to add?
Yes, and I'm going to shamefully plug my new program. I have gotten a lot of the younger people as I do the volunteer program every year, and I do group interviews, and they come to us, they do that program, and then they come to us again for a real job, and they do not know how to interview. I realized that maybe they're not doing this in the high school, maybe they're not doing it in the middle school. So every half day for the next 3 months, there's going to be, it's like a 2 hour program. I give them pizza, and then it's going to be resume building, the first one. Then they're going to learn how to be professional, communicate with future employers. And then the last one is like actually mock interviews and like doing that with a partner. I was like really excited about the program. Then I was like, no one's signing up. However, I do have 5 or 6 people signed up, which is right about the maximum of what I was hoping to take. So I am excited that that's going to be running starting next week, the first half day of this month or next month, I guess. So that's my shameful plug.
That's great.
I think it's fantastic.
Do you need any commissioners to do interviews?
All that big-
I actually
Or would
have
you rather do
someone
it with
from
themselves?
I actually have someone from the youth workforce development of the state coming. So hopefully
great.
they'll give some tips. And then I think HR and youth and family services, I'm trying to rope them in as well.
Perfect, okay. Anything else? No, okay, perfect. All right,
Are we talking about the capital projects or that's a separate discussion?
so we were gonna kind of go into that next, right? Because you're done with the
I
director's
would
report.
love for you guys to weigh in on priority lists.
Great.
All right,
Um,
you tell us what, could you put
this-
it up on the screen?
Yep, so
Make it
this,
easy.
well,
If that's possible, I'm sorry.
Hannah would like one to talk to. I'm not gonna show you this one because it hurts my brain now that I've changed it to the other one. But this was this is what we did last year. These are the things we put in for. So I have already like started to update the actual forms that I have to send in Dave Davidson. But these are what we have going on. So Cloud's done, DeFazio is on hold. Elliot will be under Ed, and that will be, he's gonna put in for construction for FY 27. Claxton, fingers crossed, should be done. High school, fingers crossed, should be done. And construction for the skate park and pickleball course will be, at the very least, moved to FY 28.
So
We
we've
have
already
not yet
designed.
started, we have not yet started design, we already have money for design, but we have not yet started, so. We would have to have a number in hand within a week, and we don't. And I think it's gonna need a lot more, and plus Claxton is still finishing. And I don't wanna bring up a new project in the same spot right now.
Would you also say the reason behind that is the complexity of an action skate park? It's not your typical field
Oh,
project.
absolutely.
There's a very limited amount of organizations and
Yes.
groups that do something like this compared to fields
Yep.
or bleachers or things like that. So it's not as easy to throw a dart at the dartboard and hit somebody. It's
Yes.
a very,
Yep.
very limited amount.
If it was
of
just the
scope.
pickleball courts, it could move very quickly, when we're tying together, if we're gonna tie, the idea right now is to tie in both. Very least design, but it is gonna take some subcontracting for whoever's winning it. Now, I already know that people are talking, I know Weston Sampson has talked to a skate park person, I know Tivitas has, so I know that they're reaching out. So there's a lot of interest,
Maybe they're interested in the design.
so they would be, yes, they would, Weston Sampson and like they would, whatever the hierarchy is for the architecture firm, whoever subs, but those folks would be interested in being involved. So I'm working with DPW on that RFP, which is a request for proposal, which means that it's not a low bid situation like construction is. Design is a proposal, so you go with the one you like the best, and hopefully it's in the right price range. Because you don't look at the price until after you choose. So that's what's there, and we can adjust accordingly. I'm happy to adjust these. This is a PDF, so I can't adjust as we go, but the other things that are coming up, that we have had put forth last year in our 5-year plan to capital was the athletic field master study, the Carlton Pavilion removal and redesign, cricket field removal and redesign, and then the disc golf course. Now, the disc golf course was an out year, that was a placeholder, so they were not within the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But these are all the projects that we put forth last year.
So you can move some around at this point, can we
Yeah,
move?
we can move
can
them
shift?
whenever we want,
Okay.
So these are the five most, I won't say important, but the five top ones we have in front of us right now, and we have to decide,
The only
are we
other,
moving, are we changing, are we keeping, what do you know,
Sorry.
what do you need here from us? Okay.
sorry, I lied. So if DeFazio had gone forward, Perry would be our next playground if we were doing like one every other year.
Yep.
Recreation facility, haha, everybody wants that. The placeholder for open space, and then the Rosemary Pool shade improvements, so, who is our new state rep?
Tarski, Josh
Tarski,
Tarski.
Josh.
Josh
Tarski, yes.
Tarski put in a request for an earmark. We did get the $50,000 towards the shade structure.
Fantastic.
I don't know when it will actually get through the madness it has to go through to get to me, but it was approved in,
So 50,000 is approved, okay.
so I think
Nice.
that is for where we had the tent this year, to put a shade structure there, a permanent shade structure. So it's not like a redesign of all the shade pop improvements at the pool, but it would be the first step for that. And not have to have the tent.
And so is that guaranteed now that we will?
I think it's hard to guarantee anything from the state or the government at all.
Right.
However, I think this is more likely,
More solid, okay.
yes, more solid than some. But that being said, nobody actually knows it. So,
Well, yeah, that's true.
Jim, you got a question?
I got a question about water fountains and water flows.
yes. What's your question?
Question is like, where can this fit in here?
So water-
And is it under us or is it under somebody else?
Well, it depends on who you ask. It is one of those hot potato situations because it involves water, it involves plumbing, and it involves us, and it involves whatever.
It's at a field usually, right?
Yeah.
At sports complex.
The long and short of it is we have had a lot of internal meetings about this, interdepartmental. Park and Rec, I have offered to own it because we are the ones that turn on and off the water in general at our facilities. We turn it off, we winterize and de-winterize the water. Here, we do it at a few of our other places. We are working with different departments we've already had a plumber come out, DPW brought out a plumber to see which, and I haven't gotten a report yet, which pipes need to be just capped and moved on, which ones we can save and update the water bubblers to water fillers. So it is a work in progress. It looks like it's gonna be a shared responsibility, DPW or Barry, it could be Barry. And if the cost is so high, they're gonna do a warrant article. So that, because it'll be like a one time, it's not, it doesn't last, it has to be over 50,000 for capital and it has to last longer than 25 years. And it there's like three things, it wouldn't hit capital, but we could do a warrant article. And we could have it and do like 6 this year, 6 next year, 6 the following.
I'm
So-
glad that, it's good
Yes.
that,
So it is,
yeah,
all- it
that's
is
good, that's good
coming
to hear.
together, but it wouldn't hit capital and it won't hit our operating.
No, that's just good to hear that it's
Yeah.
being worked on.
Don't we have some? Do we have some already? We have some.
We have.
And are they working?
No. So when we a lot of them stopped working and then the pipes broke during COVID. Because we shut them all down
That's not powerful, jeez.
COVID.
because they were shut down for many years and they weren't serviced in between.
Got it.
Because we didn't want people using. Which is why we have the plumber coming out to check on which ones are gonna work, which ones are not, which ones we have to upgrade. And then there's a few in parks that seem like off the beaten path of why do we have water here? And then some that don't have them that should.
So what do we have in today's, for example? Do you know? I
We
don't
have
know.
one-
Do we have one
We have
water
a
filler?
water filler at the
Filler.
pavilion.
And then at Memorial, we must have at least.
It's on the
So
building.
Maryland, we have that right as you walk in on the right side, it's bubbler and a filler. And I think I've said this before, I swear one of the first CPC articles that
We do.
we did was for bubblers.
Yes,
I don't know
because
how many it was.
Green Needham or Water Bubbler Needham, I don't know what they're called, they have reached out, and they gave me the whole history of that, so they're behind it, DPW and I are working on it together.
Okay.
It will be a, we'll chip away at it as we can,
That's good. That's the most asked question I ever get.
and, I know, we get it a lot too.
I got the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Bubblers and bathrooms, so,
Yeah.
all right.
Ask about the McLeod Field ADA upgrades. What are we doing? This is the bleacher. Bleacher.
Yep.
This is the bleacher.
Sorry,
Okay,
so I
this-
phrased it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought, but I wanted to see if there's,
And is that something we have to go out to bid for, or is that just something?
It's going out to bid.
Okay,
so there's no cost.
We already,
Oh, no,
estimated?
we already
Okay.
voted the money.
yeah,
They are going out with $200,000 in mind, but that is a reach. That's an overestimate on purpose, because we don't know about the steel situation and the
Yeah.
tariffs.
Right.
We think it'll be more like 150, but we weren't sure, and again, the tariffs happening, whatever, that is the process. So that will come off because that is being worked on right now.
all right, so you would like us to, anything that's under the green line?
I want you to tell me which years, there's some of them that I can tell you.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
And other ones, like, do we wanna put in another playground project because DeFazio is gonna be on hold?
Right.
Because wherever this school goes, tot level is gonna be affected.
Sure.
Do we wanna bump the athletic fields master plan down the road? Again, a lot of our fields are gonna be disrupted by this project, regardless of where it goes. Same with the pavilion. Cricket field building,
We've been kicking that for.
we have been
Ever.
Like in priority lines, it just feels
well, the
like
problem is, it's like, it's so much money to demo it,
Yeah,
that,
So it's just,
So we did a big look at that, right? And you see that study probably. Yeah, and it was, at the time, I think it was $1 million, and we said, holy cow, we're
Yeah, I
not
remember
doing
that.
that. But we needed an athletic space of our own, an indoor space. Well, we ended up getting this, which isn't ideal for everything, but we didn't have anything. That building was so problematic, and
the
even
building
more
is
than the
shut down.
yeah, and even more than the building is that access.
Yeah,
We
the
just couldn't
access.
figure out the access.
Right, and that's the big problem.
And I really think, yeah, the building is, yes, no good.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is take a look at that whole facility. And unfortunately, we did a playground area, and it's not in the best area,
No,
right? And it was pretty new, it was brand new.
Yeah.
So now it's not, still not old, but if you look at that whole thing, and said, if we had to start from scratch, the fields are here, that's what I think needs to happen.
well, what I was thinking about is, we have to demo it first, right?
Yeah.
Because the building's done, right? It's been
You don't even
done.
use it for restrooms, right? You
We
don't even-
can't, it's,
No.
the
Okay.
building,
I mean, it was awful.
I think the case.
the building inspector shut it down. The flooring, all of it is just not conducive. What I think we need to do, and I agree, we need to look at it as a sort of a field project minus the fields.
Yeah.
So like,
Right.
what do we do? Do we do an open air pavilion with a storage area? Do we update the playground to make it accessible? Do we put more parking in? So I think it's not a typical project
No,
for
it's a
us.
step back and say, what do we need?
Because
What
Right, what
things do we need there? Do we
we
need
cannot
storage?
put
Do
a
we need-
plumbed building there. We can put a plumbed building, but we can't put plumbed bathrooms there anymore because of the septic situation. We have to either upgrade the septic, which is
Which is-
underneath the fields.
Yep.
Or we have to tie into
The sewer
the
line.
town one, which is also ripping out the fields.
Mhm.
So I think that's a project that we don't wanna go for right now, but I do think,
But I wouldn't wanna spend $1 million plus and not do what would make sense. If it makes sense to tie into the town sewer system, then we have to think about that project.
Yeah.
But it is going to be so expensive.
so
And
expensive.
what do we need for a building?
Right,
We
I
just
think
need restrooms, because we needed
Well, the thing
recreation
is,
space and
right,
storage
yeah.
space.
If we make it into a building where we can run all of our camps out of one space, sure, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Our camps are too big.
We
The
don't have
playground,
parking.
we don't have enough.
It's not parking, it's not accept, we tried to figure out how they would come in,
Yeah,
and
it's-
even the designer couldn't come up with something that was very
So I think,
accessible.
yeah, for what, now that we have other spaces, what do we want out of that space? And I know both Ed's team and the high school athletics need storage space for equipment and whatnot. I think an open air pavilion for, with part, like, with seating and all that could be a good place for I don't know.
So something like the Carlton Pavilion at DeFazio,
Yes, minus the
minus the bathrooms.
and then making that playground accessible from
Mhm.
some place.
So
Even
it's
if
not really accessible now?
It's not accessible at all, you have to
It's a walk.
walk up the hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I forget what if you're looking at the Cricket building, what the name of the street is on the right, not Sunnyside, right up there. But if we could somehow make a path to that,
Oh,
we can
okay.
make it accessible and we might be able to squeeze in some. But again, not an engineer, we just have.
Because I want to say that road is a dirt road that goes up, like when you go around,
Like
it,
commercial.
it bends around, but then
Depends
it's
on
like,
it's paved now.
oh, it is, okay.
Yeah, like it's falling apart.
But I
Oh,
really,
okay.
I really do
It's-
want you to have to look at it in total
But how's-
and say, we
It's just
really
like
need
that.
restrooms, we really need restrooms there. Then,
yes.
then we do them correctly. If we're gonna go with portable, because restrooms
Oh,
have their own problems, then
If we're
don't
not,
worry about it.
my experience is if your building is not year round, it is very hard to have plumbed bathrooms in New England, both for the freeze thaw and for the vandalism problem. Because it's not watched.
So then maybe the answer is we won't need plumbing. Right, we just continue with the portables like we have in the other fields, but we need storage. Some kind, we need an indoor shelter, place for kids to go if the weather.
For safety, yeah, if it does
But
rain.
we
storm.
need-
They don't have one now.
No, they don't,
So,
it doesn't mean it's tomorrow.
right, but Walker, Gordon doesn't have that either.
Right.
Like, we're not required, is it
Sure.
nice? Sure, but it is
Right.
not
Right.
unnecessary, like,
Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking that the cricket building is not as important unless the, not get down, the demo is important for safety.
Correct, that's the
Right,
biggest thing, yes,
If
safety.
we really need to just get rid of it because it's a problem.
You said the town has shut it down because
It has
it's,
shut down, it has been boarded up, we do have intermittently some people, getting in there. Some people that are currently housed. So we have had to deal with that a little bit. We have had the building tagged a few times where DPW has had to paint over the back. Cause they tag it on where the neighbors will see it. And so, it hasn't been horrible, it's just,
that's something else where you're taking up the time, we're gonna
So,
do
yes.
something else.
I would love to see it taken down. I don't know what that cost would be to take it down, because you have to also take out everything, like all the pipes, all the everything.
Right, you
And
just-
what are we gonna do with, if not athletics, because maybe they have to deal with it on their own, but Ed's equipment.
I was just gonna ask you, so they still,
So we have to
still has
put,
stuff there?
yes, we would have to
Okay.
put a temporary storage container up so that they could put their stuff there. Ideally, we would do the same for athletics, but
Right, okay. So, I'm thinking a master plan, just working on studying. The master plan study needs to be kicked down the road.
Yep.
to the
No,
end,
yeah.
or,
With the reason behind that also because of everything that is going on with Paul,
You don't
like,
know
why
what's
would we do
going
a
on.
plan now if things
Right.
are gonna change? Then you're just
Right.
literally wasting money,
Why would we study?
right?
So,
so
and then,
FY 32.
sure.
Bump it out as far as you can and then we can always walk it back,
And the Carlton Pavilion,
same thing,
again, we don't know what's gonna happen now, we may find out in a month that
yeah,
all of it is somewhat status quo, but we really won't know until they come up with an option and what they're gonna, so I would say that's gonna move.
And then we would still be
Still be
disrupted.
in,
Yes,
right,
yeah.
we'll still be disrupted, right.
so bump that out to 32 also? Or you wanna,
So what I have for DeFazio is in my capital, our ideal, and then currently on hold. I have right into this, so like, if all of a sudden, like some miracle color's done before we think it is, we can move these pieces quicker if we needed to. And I can double check with Dave how he wants to do, like, do you want me to push everything out to FY 32, Dave, and then,
Or does he want to have something as placeholders every year? Okay.
but I think short of that, it makes sense to bump it all out.
Okay.
Recreation facility,
We don't have anything, that's just,
so, all right, so we could
Wish.
push that.
yeah.
Yes.
If we put it there.
Well, because there's been some talk about, Steve Palmer
Yeah,
and
right,
things are coming
right.
up, that's a whole, but it's like, that's not,
Right,
it's not
that's.
here, it's way yet.
So I'm on that Stephen Palmer's committee, our first meeting is, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks, it's in October, so it hasn't even been a meeting of that group, although I think the town has done some things already. I understand, I'm not sure who's driving the bus. Clearly not. Something. You, anyway, yeah, I'm curious to see. What's up. So if we were to push those, push the athletic fields, that's what we're gonna push the cricket out. Carlton, I think, is on hold because it said, the shade, Rosemary shade, because I think that it's gonna be taken care of, and I don't think we should push that anyway, because it's relatively short money for
Mhm.
a lot of them, right? People want shade.
So really the timing would stay in place, but the cost increased. Because we have this.
So for that, we wouldn't need a design done, because
Okay.
it would literally be like, we
Oh, I
want
see what
this one, and it's gonna go here. Do we wanna design other shade structures on the
Oh,
tiers?
okay.
Okay.
Then maybe we keep this in 28 or 20, now that we have something, I feel less stressed about this.
Yeah.
But I do think we're going to need more shade than just that.
You got good reviews from the tent, but that's only gonna be a few times that want to do something bigger or better.
Okay, so
Well, that sort of clears.
I think that clears things up. I think the disc golf is a big question. I mean,
Yeah.
those,
I would like to move
those folks are.
That should be sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
asking.
So, all right, let's talk about that right now. So we're gonna be talking about Elliott, that you're now going to look for a Maytown meeting of 26, building of 26 in the summer. Well, technically 27, okay. So is that something that, and again, either we're gonna go by the way that the town manager or director of finance tells us to go, is it gonna be CPC funds, is it going to be free cash? We don't know that yet.
So the way all of our projects go, we submit to capital. As we submit to capital, anything that's eligible for CPC, we automatically are asked to apply for CPC,
Sure.
which is due November, I just got the thing.
There's not gonna be much money for anything.
No, of course not, but,
It's already been spent pretty much on housing.
right, so it's part, right, but there's still a bucket for recreation.
We still get money every year.
There'll be new money coming in.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be small money.
Yeah, I'm not saying it'll work, but that's.
Yeah.
The
No,
process is we do that,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll do it for everything, I
Mhm.
don't see any money coming from CPC this year. So I think it'll be
Got
based on, so it goes that way, and then we present to FinCom, FinCom weighs in, and then ultimately the town manager at some point creates a priority list, tier 1, tier 2, tier
Mhm.
3. Tier 1s go for a town meeting, the tier 2s are in the package, but they're not like, we need this right now. And so we may say, we want Harry in FY 27,
Mhm.
and she may say that is not a tier 1 right now, and so it gets automatically bumped
Got it.
back. Which hasn't happened too often, but I could see it happening more often coming up.
Right,
So-
right, because CPC funds have been tapped.
We have to have
a lot.
CPC, there's
There's
a
a lot
lot of
more
other
CPC
things.
funds coming in
Yeah.
for recreation, but it doesn't mean that we'll.
There's a lot of
access
other
them.
things happening in town, obviously, the school project is gonna be that's gonna be an override on itself, so. And frankly, Ed and I were doing this together, and we had a couple of gaps where there was nothing in a year, like we weren't going for something, and we were. Because we have been
Agreed.
going,
Yeah.
going,
Right,
and
right,
it's not that there won't be anything, it's just that we won't be looking for a new thing. Cause there'll be other projects that will be filled in, cause he's like, we won't be doing anything in 29, I'm like, skate He was like, oh, right, so,
Right.
All right, so going with that though, and again, not to, and I'm just asking this, is that too much of an ask? That if we were to do a skate park and possibly the disc golf, because ideally that's where we're looking around the same area, is that too much projects in one location? Because technically it would be 3 projects, it would be an action skate park, it would be the pickleball courts, and it could possibly be disc golf. Is that
So,
too much to put on everybody's plates?
for construction. Because it would basically be two, so I'm gonna look at it from the project
Sure.
management standpoint, so it'd be 2 sets of meetings,
Mhm.
right? Skate park, pickleball meetings, and then disc golf meetings. Now, my question for disc golf, for you for disc golf is, they have done a feasibility study,
Mhm.
they think the town forest is the best place. They have gifted us the feasibility study.
Yep.
But I don't know that the commission has said, yes, that's the good place. So if we move this up, do we do a feasibility and design 1 year and then a construction the next year, which we do for most of our projects? I mean, our bigger ones, we do 3 years.
Right, but our stuff isn't as big as a big building.
Yes, and so, for instance, we did for the Action Sports Park, that was a feasibility design construction. I think for this, it's a smaller feasibility design, but I don't think we have a lock on where the location is.
And the town forest, they're still talking like the Claxton, that
Yes.
forest, right?
And I don't know if you
Or-
saw the post that was around
Yep.
noon, where the
Sorry, I did not
gentleman-
click on the link.
Yeah.
Was there a link?
Yeah.
It just went to the feasibility study.
different.
But he mentioned in that post that they're looking for 18 holes, which was not necessarily something they had come to us that I remember. They wanted 9 with the ability to get to 18.
Right.
But they keep saying town forest. We haven't actually researched the feasibility of. They looked at the feasibility, like where is it best to put, not like where's Concom, where's planning, where's this, where's that, where are all the things. So that is my only question is, do we think? Because otherwise it's just, we can build it, because they basically designed it, they basically created feasibility, so we're gonna take their report and just go with it, or do we do a different due diligence?
Cool.
I don't have a feeling either way. I mean, I do, but that's really on you.
Is that something like, all right, I can see of, I don't wanna say doing both, but we have a feasibility study that's been already done. Is it worth going to a public meeting part of it to, of the public to vet out of the people surrounding that area? Hear from them, because if we're gonna,
We cannot put in a project like that without talking to.
no, I'm just saying like, but I'm like, like if we're gonna use this particular feasibility study for the town forest, have a public meeting with the user groups and the abutters of that area to get their feedback about it. If they're against it, then we've gotta go back to the drawing board. If there is, and also conservation committee, and I would imagine they have other parts of it, of just get their opinion, like, are we just spinning our wheels here, or are they saying, hey, yes, we could see a project like this, would the abutter see something like this, and they're for something of going further with that particular feasibility. If we get pushback from conservation, if we get pushback from the neighbor saying we don't want it in this area, then we go back and we do our own feasibility, because you listen to the public, you listen to conservation, it's a no-go on that particular thing.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a public meeting about like gaining interest for a project anytime, like they did for the off-leash dog park.
Sure.
So we don't need to have like an actual project to move forward.
Right.
I think that is a good plan, because I think if we come out of nowhere and plop a
Sure.
course in the middle of the town
Yeah.
forest, we're gonna
Yeah.
get some kickback, because
Exactly.
that
Well, I
is
think we
a
started to
beloved
sit down.
area.
I mean,
It
I
started
was
already.
surprised, I don't know if you started, I was surprised, or if you started to, I was surprised at the comments, not that there were that many, but there were enough that said, why would you do this in the town
Right.
forest? I don't want to get hit in the head by a disc, and,
Right.
there's already bike trails in there, and, right, and so I was a little surprised at how quickly those comments came in,
Oh, I
so
agree.
I, no way to gauge the depth.
So I think that is the right move, if you ask my opinion. The question I have then is, okay, but for this purpose, where do we put feasibility / design
Sure.
and construction for the disc golf space.
It's like we have very little. I mean, 27, we don't. What do we have? There's no, we have
Elliott. We have
Elliot,
Elliott,
which is already.
But that's gonna be construction.
that'll be construction.
And we have
we
the
And that's the
have-
summer of 2026, right? Fiscal 27.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Right, so, okay.
So for FY 27, you won't see it reflected, but we'll be continuing doing the design for skate park and we'll be in the design phase of that.
Tennis will be done.
The
Claxton will
only
be
other
done.
thing,
Uh,
up with besides disc golf that could be up is a different playground. Which on our original playground thing was buried.
But Elliot did get done,
Elliot, yes, we'll be getting
right?
that.
So we
Yep.
need to include that as we're looking at.
Right, it's one that's done.
That's
Sure, right, yeah.
It's
Right.
one that we haven't done.
We have done one.
Right.
In that period of time, which would suggest we could push.
Heading to
Very
28 for
28.
What
design.
condition do you think? It's like, we've
It
been there for
needs-
a while, needs a lot of work.
Mhm.
Last time I was there, it was at work.
So that one should be next on the town side and Broadmeadow should be next on the school side.
Okay.
But yeah, that
We
Perry
could
could
do
be,
feasibility in 27 or 28. Right, 'cause what does it suggest for 29?
yeah, we could start design on at 28,
Yeah, design.
Harry for 28.
I think so. Now, that will all, you'll have to probably revisit that and when the phase,
Sure.
when the decision finally gets made and we move forward, but I think if we put design at 28 and construction at 29, that makes sense.
So we're actually bringing it forward.
Because
Nice.
because of DeFazio, we have so
Yeah.
many,
Mhm.
we had a lot of projects in the turned up in and around DeFazio.
Yes.
They're all gonna have to be.
That we're all gonna
Yeah,
go
it's suspended.
on hold because of it, so.
And I don't know when, even when they decide what they want to do, who knows what the timing will be. They have miles to go.
Mhm.
So we can squeeze them between, depending on what their decision is, but it seems like not a good use of funding if it's gonna have limited accessibility. So,
So I think if
So
you
we did this
did,
fall, what are you thinking?
Could we do, all right, so hear me out on this. Make sure I get the terms right. If we do a public meeting and we get the green light from conservation and the neighbors, we have a feasibility study. Could we do, make sure I get this right? Feasibility for the Action Skate Park in late of this time next year? So that would be 27,
we already have that.
we already have that money, so we would go
The next thing that we would put in for the skate park would be construction for FY 28.
FY 28.
We're gonna work on design, but we don't have to ask capital, because we already have it.
Right now.
It's already been approved.
Okay, I'm trying to, I'm thinking this out of my head, but talk amongst yourself, let's think this out. No, I want to make sure I get the dates right. No, I know, yeah, look.
But I
And,
think what we
Let's
could
hear your
do
suggestion first.
is we could, if you wanna move this forward, depending on where, we could do feasibility design in one, or cost design in one, the first year,
Mhm.
whichever the FY year is, and then the construction the following year. In the meantime, we can decide, like, if we did feasibility slash design, and then we did our due diligence
Mhm.
before May, and they say absolutely do not want town forest, then we have the placeholder that we can do feasibility and design in 1 year.
I like that.
Because
and that would be 27,
it could be, we could do
Yeah.
it for 27.
because if we're doing it before May,
Right.
right, yeah.
Right. We do have to put a couple of public meetings together, because I think it's not just the neighbors that can have something to say about this.
Yeah, people who use the facility.
No, okay.
Yeah, so I
Agreed,
think we should
agreed.
have like 2 public, whatever, listening sessions, or, no, we wanna listen to them, I don't know what that's called.
Yeah.
So we can have a couple of opportunities for people to come in and say, we don't want this here,
Mhm.
what about, have you thought about, whatever they have.
It's kind of like what we did with the dog park around here, of just listen to the public
We're
and
thinking
just
this,
say,
and then let them,
Well, I was just using that as an example, I know, yeah,
Um,
that type of forum, I would say.
totally. I think that timing works. And we're doing feasibility and design at the same time, which gives us
we're
flexibility.
gonna, just gonna make a language that gives us flexibility depending on how we need to do it. Construction would have to be separate, so if we did, and I'll update this, send it out so you guys can see it, make sure I got all the information that you were saying correct.
So the 28th, though, if we're thinking about construction in 28, what else will we have under construct, like what else will be in construction in 28? Right, so that's gonna be a really
That's it.
tough,
Big
so,
one, big one.
yeah,
Right.
everyone, different,
I mean, it
In
doesn't mean we
terms of-
can't move it, so like, originally, we thought skate park was gonna be design 26,
Mhm.
construction 27, as it turns out it needs a longer runway for that,
Right.
so we're moving it.
Yep.
So anything after this year can be moved accordingly, so we'll have a better feel for it, I guess, by that point, and we can decide next October, September.
Close enough. But yeah, we're just using it as a
I think that's a good-
placeholder, if we need to move it, we can move it.
yeah, I think in terms, just given the number of things that are being off our priority list, that gives us an opportunity to move that.
What other questions do you have for us, or did we get everything?
Interior, when we did 28. Shade structure, we're keeping at 27.
I moved the shade structure to 28, because I'm like not counting that
Yeah,
as
the bigger
our capital.
Yep.
Cause that I think will be here's your earmark, we picked this one,
Mhm.
please
Okay.
install it. So I'm not using,
It's a lot easier project than any other projects. Okay.
I like it.
Do you feel better now with what the decisions we just made?
yeah, so I already created all of my spreadsheets that I have to send with all these open spaces, so I can
Yeah,
just
yeah,
start
yeah.
plugging them in because they're due so soon.
Mhm.
So that was my big.
Okay.
Next up. Do you wanna go to goals and policies before we hit
Sure.
collar? I don't know, you should go in order. That's where there's a-
We always show all over the place.
But we get it done.
Yes. Let's go to goals and policies.
Goals and policies.
So I think that will be a little bit easier, because I think the policies will be more of a lengthy discussion. On mine, it's showing page 17.
Yeah,
It is
17.
the multi-purpose room policy.
I thought we were on goals,
Oh.
that's 65.
60.
Let's just stay on 17 then.
That's fair,
Oh,
like,
okay,
wait,
yeah.
this isn't what.
I'm just going by how the packet was.
Okay, so it's staying.
So you do always jump around, so you can jump back to
Alright.
page 17.
65.
Oh, okay.
Here we are, responsibilities.
So these are responsibilities you guys discussed. They just need to be adopted and approved by you. The first page on 65 is responsibilities and on 66 is goals. Let me know if am I missing anything, if it's redundant, if you want to change anything.
Pick me to first ones.
I think so.
Like to be a representative for the Action Recreation Group.
You have Cindy right now as the representative of the Acton Rec
And Michelle.
and Michelle.
Can't have three because it's four. But if you guys want to fight over it, I would love to see.
We so seldom fight, quite honestly.
Not funny.
I'm kind of with you, if you really want it. You'd have to give something
Just
up,
because,
because you only got 3 lines, you know,
Yeah.
you'd have, you'd only.
that's just because,
But
that's
see-
the reason I'm here.
Right, oh, that's true, that is the
That's-
reason you
that's-
ran, right.
Yeah,
That's all.
You guys can always update it.
You take whatever you want.
So Jim, how many, I'll swap. Want me to take the liaison and commission appointees, that's. Want to take a representative to the active recreation, because they do agree that is why you ran.
Sure, and I'll give you a future draft pick.
What did you say you were doing?
I mean, I'll take the one about liaison and commission appointees,
Oh, yeah.
because but we don't do enough of that, but so that was maybe that would make me do, you know.
Are you guys good with that swap? Jim?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
me,
like-
I mean,
Cindy? Good?
yeah,
it depends what draft pick you want.
yeah,
She's-
future draft, good.
Dina said she's not here.
So she's a liaison to NHS athletics and school.
And she asked me on the human rights.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
no, that's
Yeah,
good.
I haven't had a chance to connect, so I need to do that, but yes. Yeah. And if you, or Grace, if you need me to share, let me know. I accidentally Xed out of it, but.
All right, with those changes being made, is there anything else that is sticking out to any of the commissioners here? All right, I will make a motion to accept the Park and Recreation Commission's FY 2026 responsibilities and liaisons adopted with the changes that we made tonight. Okay, I was waiting for Stacy to stop texting, so.
I don't need to be part of it.
Well, are we still? All right, we have a motion and a second. Do I hear any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. I will make a second motion to approve the Park and Recreation Commission yearly and ongoing goals for current 26 goals and ongoing goals. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
I just want to say that the next 4 pages, relate back to your ongoing goal number 6, so you have an idea of what's happening, coming up.
Gone.
Oh, so cute.
That was when I was, driving to New York, the week before, and I was like, what can I do in the car that's not gonna give me a headache? Oh, make a calendar. Okay, I am gonna share back, we're gonna go to,
Back to 17.
Actually, can we go, sorry, keep on going, no, we'll come back to it later.
meeting, yeah, I didn't put in all those dates, cause I was like, oh my god. I started to,
Okay,
and
that's
then
what
I
I
was
saw
like,
that and I was like, oh, why are you?
no, it was
Got
just because of the summit,
It was a good. Got it.
and it was before, it hadn't happened yet, when I was making it, so.
Take that Parliament. All right, so looking at discussion items, you have everything you need for the capital improvement plan and priority list, correct? We just went over commission policies, we just went over commission goals. Do we now want to go into the Pollard Middle School discussion? What?
Do the recreation complex.
Oh, yes, please, yes.
Policies, 'cause I wanna post
Okay,
that.
yeah, so that's 17.
That's the
That's
17. Oh,
Sorry.
no, that's fine. That's why I wanted to ask.
So I did take a look and I included it after this, our policy, I included. Yes, I compared the rules for Powers Hall to our rules, they are almost verbatim.
Yes. Because we copied them.
And I
We did,
That was
that was potential, we did copy them.
just, I double checked with Katie King, because when I first said the commission was leaning towards not, renting to basically the public. She was like, oh, let me check on that, and make sure that we're allowed to do that. And because it's a public building, can we say no? The answer is yes. We can say no.
Nice, it's good saying no.
But, you know, she was like, I
Good for
wonder
you,
if
good to have a
anything's,
check.
I didn't know if
Yeah.
anything's changed, and I wanna check,
Yeah.
so, the only thing we did is we went back and, Hannah, did you do this, or did I do this one?
Either you or Grace.
Me and Grace? Or you and Grace?
Nope, like Stacy and Grace.
We did just add some specific language to, like, our patrons versus like the public residents. Nothing much has changed, I double checked on the cost for custodial and the highlighted area is the question that we like, do we need this?
You're talking about page 18, just so we're all on the
Yes,
same page.
sorry, 2B.
17.
Well, now.
No,
it's
I got
18 under
18, it's at the
permitting.
bottom, it's, yeah, 2 permitting requirements, A and then B, and all B is
Yeah,
not.
it's a Christmas,
Oh.
it's 10 working days.
I just wanna maybe put in there that's like, oh, it's already in there, never mind. The director of Park and Rec can waive the advance requirement because we often have a last minute, oh my gosh, can we post this there?
Yeah.
And if we have open space, the answer is yes.
Sure.
But I see that it's already in there. So I don't think I change anything there.
Okay.
So the fees on page 25. Is interesting
Oh, jeez.
for multiple reasons. So I updated the cost for the custodian and building monitor and got rid of AB. Because we can never actually get somebody from AB to come in IT, like it's either me or Chris. And the conference room that it refers to is this room, not our bathroom, because we locked this public out from this.
Yep.
My question is this, since I have been here, people have requested this and all the ones we have said yes to, not one time have we charged a fee. Because it's always a nonprofit or a school group or whatever. We have always, if necessary, there's a building monitor and a custodial fee, but that's not charged through us, that's DPW. Do you wanna keep the fee structure as is? Do you wanna change it, or do you wanna say, or otherwise waived by the commission?
Yeah, giving the yeah.
Yeah, so giving us the
flexibility
option to
I
say,
wanna
Correct.
keep it
right?
as like a base assumption.
And then you wanna
Discretion.
fall back. That was the only question I had.
And sorry, I missed where you were saying the language around the use for private. Like where did?
Oh, it's not in here, it's in a different bylaw. Katie had sent it to me, and so it's not in ours or Powers Hall regulations either, it's just, we were just double checking that the
Okay.
legalese of it was okay.
It didn't require us to.
It did not
offer.
require it to, for tax, anybody that pays taxes in town.
So this isn't explicitly saying we are not renting it out,
Does
it's
not-
just
we
it's the
can
way that
certainly
we.
add it, but,
Oh, no, that's
but it gives you the
not, okay.
I think that we
say back on page 17,
Oh, we do put it in there, you're right.
it's
Yeah.
right there, right?
Paragraph
I
two.
did put it in.
Paragraph 2, right, it says,
Oh, that's why I was
permits
looking
for
for that.
commercial activity and private use, including not parties or stuff, et cetera, will not be authorized, so it does say it there. Cause I thought that was our whole intent.
Mhm.
Yes. And it was
I
already
just
there.
hadn't caught that.
Yeah, because we.
No, it wasn't there.
That was not there.
I pulled
because-
that directly from Powers regulations and put it into ours. Powers
So they
Hall,
have the same
they have the exact same language.
language.
Like it.
So we extracted it, so we left it open when we first.
Well, because that was the back and forth conversation.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
loud conversation we
Yeah.
had,
Or
but
whatever.
why does, but Powers,
Do they-
but Powers, so you can't have a commercial activity at Powers?
So
Did you-
Power, they said, or they have a discretionary.
Oh.
Oh, because they do have.
They do,
some,
I mean,
yeah.
we always say,
Yeah.
you can call Powers Hall.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried to mirror it, well, mirror, just to copy some stuff here that we had, but we just couldn't agree on whether we wanted it to be available or not, and then we came down and decided, well, let's wait and see what happens, let's use it first. We've got to kick that can down the road, as always, at some point, if you reach that point, I don't know, just-
All right, where do you want to go next?
What can you approve the policies?
I will make a motion to approve the policy as amended by the packet we have in front of us tonight that was sent to us by the director and the assistant director. And any changes that were made will be corrected and updated as of tonight.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Did you vote?
And Jim,
This
let me
levy,
through everything. Yeah, Jim.
So Thursday, did you read?
I was like,
I know, I was gonna print the whole thing, I was like,
No.
oh my gosh.
Just print it
the
out
field
minutes.
is a-
Oh, we finally got minutes.
Okay, finally.
Sorry.
It's been
Thank you,
killing
Grace.
us. So for the field manual, there's a placeholder for our code of conduct, which has literally come up this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
What
page are you on?
Yeah, what page are we looking at?
38 to 39.
Scroll.
39 is it. So one of the things we are looking at, there is a NEDA code of conduct. Like for employees and residents, it's posted in all town buildings, so we're gonna pull some from that. We're also gonna pull some code of conducts from the actual field manual about coaches. The amount of trash, equipment, permit issues,
Mhm.
you name it, Lou has dealt with it this year, has far surpassed anything I've ever thought of. One of the things that's come up recently is about not just flag football, but other permit things is I can't imagine a space, and I could be wrong, where the commission would pull a permit that would affect 500 kids. However, and I don't know how we do this or how you want to think about it, there is no retribution for people breaking our rules. If they leave trash behind,
Yep.
if they use a field without a permit, if they scream and woo, there's no
They
retribution.
schedule a game in spite of the fact that the permit says no.
Yes, so whatever it is, there's no retribution, so I don't know if we wanna, and this is not tonight, but it has come up this
So you
weekend.
want something with teeth. We don't have any.
We have no teeth, I don't know if there's a fine system we can
fine.
come up with, like, because the other thing that's come up is we have two, and I'm gonna pick on baseball, softball, and soccer only because they're our largest, but they're not the only ones.
Sure.
They blanket permit every field in town and don't use it, which means other groups cannot use it. And so do we start fining them for that? But that's hard to police.
Correct.
Or do we move up, I suggested when we changed our field fees to start doing it per hour. Do we look at that and potentially move that up sooner? I don't know. I just think it's something to think about because we're getting a lot of these problems. I mean, I drive through here on a Sunday and I want to lose my mind because
You know
according
it's
to my
permitted.
permits,
Yeah, it's permitted,
everything
what's
in
there.
town is permitted from 8 to 8 and it's like a ghost town for fields.
Not to phase you. Oh
No,
my God.
Not to phase you.
Sunday.
Yeah.
no, there's our big hubs, right? But then I drive by all the other ones
Exactly,
and I'm
like
like,
Walker Gordon
what?
is like desolate.
right, and yet it's permitted but there's no retribution, there's no reason why
So
you
we
wouldn't
need to
permit it.
deal with it at, start at the, field summit.
Yeah.
Right, and just say, look, this is what's happened. We need to talk about the Ellen Olympics, right, that somebody went in and they thought they could play a game
Yeah.
in the middle of the track or,
Yeah.
right, there's, the whole field is permitted for
Yeah.
that special event. And yay,
Yes.
And
you
they
feel
still-
like you
Yeah.
feel like
We
you can
talked
go
about it,
and.
you walked off on
Right,
every
and,
single
and,
permit.
and they get there and then, and they're like, well, we just didn't hear, was. Anyway,
Yeah, can I-
So that needs to be addressed, and I think, right, we need to say, we're gonna put some things in this up to, now to do fines, I think that's a whole bylaw thing, that's,
could
that's
be.
a,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
that's a town meeting, we vote on fines, right, all the time.
That's probably true, that's why I didn't know,
So, I don't know that we.
but we can
do
change our
something.
hourly fees.
We can do that, absolutely,
Mhm.
right, right. And-
But,
Right,
you
and if
know.
we charge them for the fields, you know, for the time they permit, they won't be shocked.
And we've
Well,
only,
and I-
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I also think we need to be tracking the number of the number of individuals on a field per permit, right? Which might impact the cost if we're doing it per hour, right? Like field hockey will come and have like 5 teams, soccer does the same,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
one field where it's like 4 teams are on that.
Right.
And that impacts, and it helps us then track the parking situation, like how many cars are we actually anticipating for that? And so it's linked to the hour fee, but
Yes.
we've gotta have the number of
Yeah.
individuals, and I think that pushes soccer to really quantify how many kids do you actually need? If you're permitting all of this,
Right.
how many kids are gonna be there, how many kids are in the program? Like the math has to add up for us to
So
really.
you have other groups that,
understand.
that would like space.
Well, and Hannah and I talked about this in the fall, and again, I'm just gonna pick on two because they're our biggest. But every time they fill out their permit requests, they just change the dates. Fields don't change, the hours don't change, nothing changes, and so we talked about if it comes back again, we're gonna kick it back and say no.
And then they're like mad if they don't get access to a
Yeah.
field. It's like, well,
It's like you literally,
I don't need that.
But they definitely need it on the LED Olympics Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I said to that group, when I put the permit out, I said, nothing can happen, it is one day a year, these athletes deserve this.
7:30 to 1, that's all it is.
Right, right.
And they
And
still.
then I
do
got
that.
like, well, it means the turf, they don't use the turf, I was like, no, you can't
You
use the turf.
can't be at the park, the
Yeah.
park is for this event.
Anyway,
The only other group I know that and I know you brought up a good point of like, yes, how do we pull permits for a group of 500 youths? You know, that's a very tough thing to do. The only one that I know that we've talked about ever pulling the permits is the group that uses the turf fields on Sunday mornings.
Oh,
flag
for the-
football.
No,
That's adult.
down at DeFazio.
No, yeah, they don't have a permit, it's on the pole.
What?
Wait,
Is it-
oh, the,
Adult soccer.
Adult soccer.
Oh, the.
That we've done that, but I mean, it's one of those things like, all right, so say we did come down and say, listen, we're pulling your permit. Who is actually going to be down there to stop them from go, on a Sunday morning
No,
at,
actually, nobody.
see, there you go, on the
That's the
date
problem.
that, you know, that's the problem, it's very hard to say, if we're going to do it, yes, we have the teeth. But then we have no one to enforce it, it's the same thing like with we were talking about the dog parks, or the dogs on the parks.
Or the,
Big old signs up to say, you know, do it, and not one person has ever gotten a ticket or a fine or anything like that. So, no, you're right, it's just like, we wanna have the teeth, but how do we enforce it? It's
And
almost
what do we
impossible.
do with flag football? I mean, they're
Yeah.
insisting that they should be able to
No,
go
and-
on any green space
No.
that's available. And honestly, I am not very
No.
patient because these are people.
I
We
agree,
know how the system works,
Yep.
and I explained, we need to know who's using our field.
Mhm.
If you see an open field and you wanna call baseball, no.
Yeah.
That, you can swap with them, but it has to go through partners.
it's,
We
yeah,
have
this
to
isn't
go
a
through
backroom
fields.
deal, it has to, yeah,
And you know what I got back,
Well,
these are people I'm very familiar with, yeah, what I got back is, well, but we have a sit down. So, okay, so
So
the
you
answer
can
is
say-
obviously not
Yeah.
acceptable.
sure, you can come to a park and rec meeting that's taped. They wanna have a sit down because they wanna figure out the back door to this and
Right,
like,
yep.
absolutely not. Who's in the middle of this?
Yep. You're forcing the
So
hand,
wait, is this the people are practicing?
yes,
Yeah,
what they're
they
doing is
decide
that,
they wanna practice, so.
Well, and that, but that's like the coaches, they just find a space, right? But I think the
Right.
issue is that it's because flag football doesn't wanna get permits for practice?
Well, so what it was is there
Where
was
there isn't a permit?
years ago is that they would take Thursday after, or Thursday evenings, and they got noon. Like it was either noon and one,
Sure,
or
anyone
the
can-
multi-purpose, and it was the only days, and nobody showed up. Nobody used it, no one did anything, everyone would all come to the field on Sunday morning and they practiced in the outfield of
Yes.
Memorial.
Right.
That this year, I don't know what it is, the year that they didn't ask for any field space,
Now they only.
everybody's now using it,
They
and it's
haven't
just,
asked for field space since after COVID.
okay.
For
So
practice.
who
Sorry,
showed
sorry, sorry, yeah, right, sorry, yeah,
You just
so,
go wherever.
Right,
Whatever
so what it
closest
was,
to the
right, so what was said to me is like, well, I thought, if these kids wanna go out and use the field, they don't have to have a permit, right? That's what Dave DeChico was all about, you just go out and you use green space, I'm like, well, is it organized?
well, that's the thing, yeah.
Well, it's just a good, like, well, it's.
Yeah, you got
it's
6
like
kids just throwing the
football.
ball, that's one
Practice.
thing, you've got coaches
Right, if it's a
and
neighborhood
multiple
group,
coaches.
yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
a few kids on bikes wanna go and then, throw the
Right.
balls, okay, but this is flag football, so,
You're in
Well,
New Jerseys, you're
yeah.
Yeah,
practicing.
exactly.
so it's organized, right?
You're putting a
Like-
spotlight on yourself.
Like
What
the
you're
adult
doing.
groups that go out and think, well, I don't need a permit. Well, guess what, you're an organized group, you need a permit, you need insurance, we need gyms on our fields, that's what we do. If
Exactly.
you don't like it, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
then
Right.
run for park.
Well,
Yeah,
Run
exactly.
for select
Some of
board.
the
Right.
coaches called us and called Hannah and said, I'd like to book a permit for a practice. And we said, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, this is
Can
a
you
no.
imagine? I was like, you have to call John Kingston, and right now, all the fields are permitted.
Mhm.
And then they still went out. Like, I don't know if it was the same people,
Sure.
but with the amount of text messages I got on Saturday from Woo, and
Mhm.
because he's just like, what do I do? I'm like, just ask them if they push back, like, don't get into altercation with them.
Has there ever been an issue where you have that group and the permanent group shows up? And that permanent group, okay. I wasn't sure if that was any of the issues,
No,
like say,
because they're
when the
like-
soccer shows up. Okay.
So Blue sees them and he knows they're not supposed to be there, or he asks the question.
No, he has the permit.
He has the,
Yeah,
so
he
he's
knows-
looking
yeah,
at
he
it,
knows.
so
So
then
he's
he's
looking
like,
at the
yeah,
thing
he's
going,
like,
no,
okay.
this isn't
So
good.
this says soccer, and you guys have football, so.
Yeah, so that's what he's doing, and he's doing his
Even
job.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The reason why nobody noticed is we didn't have a park ranger, and now we have a
Right.
park ranger, and that is.
But they
his
could do
job.
what they did before, right, is permanent field for
Yeah,
one night.
permanent,
One
yeah,
night,
one night
right,
and that's it, and it's
night.
no other nights, and you get to use this, if you don't use it, tough luck, if you
I
do,
thought that
great.
was the whole idea of the flag. I mean, not my place to say, but I thought that was the idea, that it was going to be relatively low key,
Mhm.
open to all.
Yeah.
Regardless of
practice during the
ability,
week.
right, no practices, right, wasn't that the idea? Am I missing
Exactly,
that?
well, with all the other activities that people are doing between other sports and school events and everything else like that, you can rarely get a whole team show up.
Right, so just
Because-
have, right, so that was the whole, I thought, that's what I thought with David Chico's like,
Yeah.
it'll be there for kids who maybe don't want to get, right, yeah, regular football, kids who maybe are athletic enough. Why, kids won't get concussions, so I thought that was the idea, it was going to be low key. As always, you put too many, of a certain type of person in there, it becomes,
Yeah.
Well, and now
Right.
they're gonna make it an Olympic sport, so now.
Right, now, and then
Yeah.
flag football has taken off anyway,
But then
right?
but here's the other thing, you have some of those coaches that do multiple sports, and they're like, oh, we do it for this sport anyways, might as well, we could just do the same thing for this one. It's literally just insert name here,
Right,
flag football, soccer, baseball, whatever,
right,
like.
we already break the rules for my other sport, I
Exactly,
can't do it for flag.
Exactly.
Have you seen the intensity of for flag? They are living vicariously.
Yes.
No, so, no, really, so
That's their
kids
third part-time job.
it didn't
Yeah.
start that way. So I go and set up and then leave, so I'm out of by, at 8, 9 o'clock, I'm down.
Probably smart.
8:45. No, you're right.
These are
Fucking little kids.
Yeah.
So I hope the parents are pushing back in.
because they're all living
They're all doing the same
vicariously.
thing. So, Hannah, it looks like you and I should work on the field manual a little bit more, make some more updates. Add in the code of conduct and maybe make some suggestions, so we can do that over the next week or two. Although our next meeting's not till like the 22nd, so.
Correct.
Our next week's next to what?
October
I
22nd.
thought you said April.
And we're done.
And yeah, all right, there's the year, folks.
So the only thing that I need back from you, not on the field manual, but the next things would be special events and meeting minutes, so if you wanna move
Wait,
back to
did we-
Pollard, go ahead.
Did we do the appeals language? Do we have that?
We need to update quite a bit of it,
Okay.
so we don't have to update the appeals language yet, I mean, you don't have to approve the appeals language, because I
Okay.
wanna But
thought
City Hall
that- I
was,
knew we
okay.
were- Okay.
Yes,
I thought we
but
weren't.
I didn't get as much digging into this with, Hannah did a ton of work, I haven't looked at it, and I think.
What did she say?
Didn't wanna miss it.
The appeals language, like our process, have we updated that yet?
The only thing that I did was take out the time constraints and then like barely touched it, but that wasn't my biggest concern. It was the trash and like let's treat people with respect aspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, Mike and Ed have given us a few things to put in there from
Okay.
their point of view, like legal things, so. I'd like to do a deeper dive on that before you guys go ahead. Or approve it, so. Pollard it up.
Do we want to do special events first and say Paul to the end, or?
I'm not sure what we're doing on Paul, so whatever you'd like to do. I know you
Let's say
talked
Paul,
about-
let's say Pollard to the end.
We can recap that.
So we can get special events and then we can cap it, let's do that. So, one thing, so just by looking through the packet, one thing I know I was gonna bring up, page 71 is the AED. That there is no AED at Memorial at all,
There is some.
there is not.
Where is this?
Memorial, there is not one because mostly the athletic trainers or they have that. But for certain days that I know that there's one, I think that one was even donated, but there's not one on the exterior building.
Choosing one in the building now.
I don't even know if there's one in the building.
I don't know.
I think it is one that is carried by the athletic trainers or carried by the coaches or staff or athletic director.
Okay, well, fun fact, we got a call that somebody stole the, AED at DeFazio, so
Again,
So I called AED people and said, oh my God, I need one right away. And Hannah brought the AED down and miraculously it was back.
we talked
So
about this last time, the
somebody
parents.
returned it.
Yeah,
My guess is some kid brought it home and some
Yeah,
parent was
yeah,
like,
we did
are you
talk about
kidding
that.
me?
right, yeah, like bring it back
So
now.
we have one
Yeah.
currently, but it is a loose, so we have an extra one right now. And if you look up on the screen that I'm sharing, we are looking into purchasing these to put the AEDs in, because we don't have the infrastructure of Wi-Fi or cameras or anything out at any of our fields right now. Maybe Memorial.
Memorials, that's it.
So what you have to do is you have to call 911. 911 gives you the code, you pop the code in and open the door. So that it already accomplishes two things. One, you open the door to the AED. Two, you've already called 911. They're already on their way by the time you're opening that door.
I like that.
Dover has them. They have tried them. It is so fast. Everybody's like, oh, that takes so much time. It does not take that much time. You just say, there's a code. I'm at this AED. What's the code for it? This is what a lot of my colleagues are putting in their.
So anybody
website
can
cards.
make that call.
Anybody can make them.
Mhm.
And you can mount them wherever.
10-year warranty, that's huge.
How much are these? Is it-
Yeah.
is that anything? I see that.
It's not on the second.
Okay,
I'd
I'd
like
like
to
to
send it to you.
I'm just curious, are we talking $500, $5,000?
It's not as much as the AEDs.
Yeah, the AEDs are expensive, the case not so much.
And right now, there is at Capitol Hill, there's somebody's trying to push through a bill that says that the state will basically provide AEDs. I have talked to some of our representatives and said, this is great. Most of us don't have the infrastructure of the AEDs that, like, if we open, like, a lot of the fancier places, if you open the box, it takes a picture and calls 911 immediately.
Right.
We don't have that kind of infrastructure. And so we talked about, well, okay, if you want to do this, can you do these too? So we're pushing it down. Who knows where that's gonna fall?
It's not gonna cost me even 1,200 to 3,000.
Yeah.
The one I just got was about 1,600. Because it's a, it's a permit stuff.
Sure.
We ordered from, I wanna say these were. I can look it up in a minute.
Is it something that we might consider doing in phases, like start some of our major fields first and then go periodically?
Financially, we can have a program.
Yeah,
And potentially depending on, maybe with the select board rules, we could even do like a warrant article, like one with the bubblers, so we just roll it over every year.
sure.
So we wanna spend, let's say, $9,000 this year on this, it has to be $10,000, but, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
whatever the amount is.
$10,001.
This year, and the following year, and the following year, and we'll just.
I like that.
Priority
No,
lists.
I like that. I definitely like that idea.
Put these out. Page after that is the one.
One special event request,
Special
geocaching.
We've done this before.
These are the same people
Mhm.
that I went geocaching with a million years ago. Trade through the snow. It was a long time ago. They took the commission out.
Oh, wow.
Patty, Big Patty and this, I think, both this, very, yeah, they are Wendy. Remember Wendy?
Mhm.
I think that-
All right.
It was interesting, we did get lost in the town forest, that was a little interesting, but
With them?
Big Patty.
Even with this, I mean, it's,
Well, we were,
I
yeah.
know, even with the concept of what you're doing.
I was mailing it up to citizens. I suspected.
It's got a piece of string tied to her to make it back that way, breadcrumb trail, so. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the special event. Who wants it?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the adult geocaching group, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
The addition that I put on your seats, on your tables. My initial thought is I think this is a no right out of the gates, but I wanted to let you know that this is happening. That this is a thing that people have reached out to us about. It, more and more we're getting things like MLB soccer and NFL football
Yeah.
and MLB baseball, so you should just know that it's happening. And like, if you read through it and you see the flyer, like, it's hard not to wanna do this, but this is a rental and they're gonna make money, we don't do that.
Right.
Right? It's not a need based, so
There's
no
no
big-
not, they say they're 501c3 at least.
and it's not in here because I printed it up after the fact.
For a rental revenue, yeah.
Bring it really close to the camera. For me.
I printed it for you.
Rental revenue for hosting.
So I just, it's more of like a heads up, this is happening.
Yeah.
Because he has called, he's an email, he left me another call, even though I said, you have to wait until I write this to the commission. But
Is he an Eden guy or no? Any relationship to the town at all?
not yet, I'm sure he'll come up. They all do.
He also needs to do spell check when he sends emails.
Well, there's that.
Youth with two T's, I like that.
And that's it.
Okay.
We don't need to do anything.
No, that was, I know the answer, but
Yeah.
this might start happening more, and
Sure.
it could be that flag starts coming out. The reason I really wanted to print it up is, if you remember, Bay State football has been pushing back at us about losing too much money, but they serve everybody. This could be the thing replacing it if Tom and Ann ever decide they wanna actually retire. Because I don't know, if Tom and Ann aren't gonna run it, I'm not sure who's stepping up to do it, they're the ones that run Bay State football.
That's it, last.
Lamb, Tom Lamb.
Yeah.
And so this could be the next filler. Then we would have to discuss whether or not we want this to fill a hole we might have, but we don't need to think about that right now. That's just, that was my first thought, was like, oh no, are they gonna come up trying to for Bay State? But maybe not, I don't know.
I just feel like just read the email, it seems like it's a generic email that they're just literally plugging in.
Oh, I'm sending it everywhere.
Okay, like I was gonna say, like, you know,
This is-
Wellesley,
right.
you know, I mean, it's just
So
there.
I've already called, I've already
Okay,
sent
all
out the, have anybody else got this? And I got, oh yeah, they got it,
Okay.
so.
I wonder where they've been in the past.
Yeah, well, here's the reason, yeah, why they ask it
This
now,
isn't
if they've been
brand
doing
new.
it, if they've been
This
doing it
isn't-
for a
it's
while.
brand new, but I don't know.
No, it says 24 years.
Yeah, so. Maybe bring.
Oh, restaurant, water access and shelter protection.
Put it on our hands.
Indoor backup space for lunch, weather only on full day. Okay. It's over there, right now. Fantastic, all right, let us go into the wonderful minutes that we have here. We have a few, starting on page 73 from first set of notes from August 11th.
So one thing stuck out to me is just, I don't know why, but if you looked in the open forum public comment, the second line, it says Mr. McGee, a disc gold advocate.
What? Yeah, just golf.
Second one, I see it.
I started reading these today, I left these ones today, but, it's like, not a big deal.
Okay. All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns in regards to the minutes of the meeting from August 11th this year? All right, hearing
I
none.
have a
Oh,
comment, I have
go
a
ahead.
comment, and the minutes are well done, and I appreciate that they're done. Maybe this is how we want our minutes to be done since things are recorded. I feel like we really pushed back very hard that night on this. We don't know that that's reflected here when I read it. But maybe this is the right way to have written minutes, because it's certainly recorded.
So all of our meetings are not recorded and they
Yeah.
live forever and ever.
Right, well, we pushed back,
Yeah.
my
But our
recollection,
minute- yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, are people really gonna read the minutes or are people gonna watch the videos? Then I mean, like, I hear you, I mean,
And we've had commission minutes where they were very, very.
Right.
That's a different stuff. All right, just want to point that out, I think this is fine.
okay. Any other comments, questions, or concerns in regards to the minutes of August 11th?
Make a motion, we accept these minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from August 11th, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Next set of minutes. Very slowly. August 25th. Questions, comments? Edits? Anything needs to be made for these minutes? All right, hearing, oh, actually.
Dates. Should bring it down. So in the last minutes before this, we said next meeting September 8th. September 9th.
But I think,
But maybe we changed
was that
that.
the one that I messed up?
That was what we had to do the day later.
We had,
Supposed to be-
oh, okay, so
supposed to
that
do
was
it
that,
on
because
the-
we missed.
But we got
a deadline.
So
Right,
during the timing of the minutes.
Right, that's why,
the
okay,
minutes
It was
thank you.
correct. It was reflected, yes.
Okay, so then when you look at September 9th, first page of those minutes, which is page 81, call to order, Mr. Gersel called the meeting to order at 7 PM on September 8th. That's right.
God bless you.
Right, and that should say September,
You're on September 19th.
yeah.
Yeah, so
go to the
it says
first
September
page.
9th of the day, but it
Got
was reflected of the day is the day before.
I mean, it's a small point, but
Nope, I
those
guess.
dates
Nope.
are right.
Should we make a motion to approve the minutes of August 25th?
Yes, let's do that one first. I have a motion, do I hear a second?
With that change, with that date change.
The date changes on the next one.
Yep.
The date until next, one. We're talking about the 25th.
Okay,
All right, so we have a motion and we do have a second for the 25th. Do I hear any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of August 25th, say aye. Aye, passes unanimously. Now we will go on to the September 9th minutes. That the edit will be made, that it was reflected in the call to order was actually on the 9th, not the 8th. Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further?
Oh, wait, no,
Oh,
I can't, I wasn't there.
There it is. All right, I got a motion and a second.
good catch, Michelle.
Grace,
Right.
Jim, second and those, Grace. That,
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of September 9th, say aye.
Michelle abstained.
Wow. I do like, Grace, how you do bold print the motions and everything, so no, honestly, I think it's great, because it sticks out, so thank you for doing that.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of September 15th, 2021.
Motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of the Park and Recreation Commission meeting of September 15th, say aye. Passes unanimously. All right, this,
Thank you, Grace. I'm
Yeah.
imagining that was not an easy task, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, she doesn't quit, so that's good.
Appreciate it.
yes, yeah, definitely, so.
Very detailed.
Definitely. All right. So we did do a lot of jumping around, but like I said, I know we want to get to back to our discussion item of Pollard Middle School. Just to kind of bring it full circle is that last week there was a meeting on Thursday where we had two commissioners. We had both Jim and Cindy that attended. So I'm and our director was there too. Fantastic. I will yield the floor to the two of you just to give a quick, I guess, Reader's Digest of how you think the meeting went. And then we can just have an open discussion of what next steps, if there are any to make, and we can go from there. So Cindy, Jim, who wants to go first?
I'll tell you about the meeting. The format was a little bit different.
Mhm.
So all the boards, 7 boards were there. We were at the Broad Meadow Performance Center, that building, that room is. And there was the meeting was open by Katie King, town manager. David Kins gave a presentation about Pollard, which was slightly different than what we have seen today, but essentially what we've all heard about the options. And then each board was supposed to deliberate public, and it went around the room. On this, and the essential question was, should DeFazio be removed from consideration for this project, right? So the first one's go with the select board. And they all 5 of them, for similar reasons, said that they thought DeFazio should not be considered as an option and it should be taken off the table. And their consensus was, and really other than each one spoke, and then the consensus at the end, which was pulled together by Heidi, the chair, was that DeFazio was not a good option and that they didn't think it should go forward to be one of the 7 options. So they were first. So then the second group to go was the school committee. And they were very interesting because they talked about, one school committee member said that the town really need to look at, and this is all over jurisdictional policies, because clearly clearly, not my words.
Okay.
Clearly.
One of the school committee
Yes,
members,
one
yes.
school committee said that clearly those policies need to be revisited because they're a mess, basically what she said. That the whole jurisdiction thing needs to be looked at because it's not good. The vice chair was not there. She had a letter on each. She had a letter on each table that said she had, I think, emergency surgery or something that morning.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't know. Hopefully she's fine. And she, for a bunch of reasons, ended up saying, I don't think DeFazio was an option. So that was a surprise to me to read that.
Lisa's
Yes.
Scott Stark.
Scattered, I think it is, Scattered.
Sure.
So that was hers. Now, the rest of them talked, and they all, very reluctantly, felt that even though DeFazio was a good option, it should be considered, that it should probably be taken off the table. That's how I would read it.
A
Most of them.
lot of them said you shouldn't drop it so quickly.
So
from
quickly,
discussion.
Okay.
so at the end, Michael Bryan summed it up by saying, with a heavy heart, he thought, it should probably not be still considered, but really it was reluctant, right? And I don't know if I'm summing up correctly, but that was what I remember, right? Was my notes. So we were third. So, so I spoke. Listening to this, so anyway, so I had
You
my.
did a really good job.
Of course she does.
I had, I wrote her a few notes and,
And Dina was texting me.
Okay.
But anyway, and I think Chris, you would text me for a while too.
That was, yes.
So I spoke, just, said our piece that we didn't think it was a good spot, and I talked about, and so I addressed jurisdiction head on and said, we really understand jurisdictional issues. I was on the commission when we did this jurisdictional stuff.
Yeah.
So I know we traded properties, and we did it very thoughtfully, and we set up DeFazio thoughtfully, so that we had the fields.
Yeah.
The schools had the middle part over to the side, so that, because they told us they might want to go elementary school, and that's how it was designed. And that's how the fields were built in 2007.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing that we talked about.
And everybody agreed to that.
And
It
we
just
agreed
wasn't
to
one.
that, we all agreed,
Everybody
and
agreed.
it made sense, and it wasn't just DeFazio that was the jurisdictional swaps, right? They were parcel 74, there was like Nike site might have been on the table, I mean, there was a lot of
Yep.
stuff that went around, right? Because we were trying at the time to make it make sense, right? So I said, we understand jurisdiction is really important, because that's the only way properties are protected, and the schools get to protect the properties they have, which they should have that. And we get to protect the properties we have, and we should have that, and there's a reason that, and the select board has their part, and there's a reason why you have jurisdiction. So I mean, I hit it head on, because I just didn't like making it sound like we were just,
We're
doing
the
something.
Difficult.
Right, so I basically went through like the reasons why we don't think it's a good site. So moved on, so then the next one might have been planning, or was it finance, I can't remember what next, but anyway,
Or conservation.
no, conservation went last, right, so it might have been planning, they kind of said, well, it's a flat site, you could build there, and there's some zoning issues, but you can really resolve zoning issues, I mean, it came out of it thinking, quite honestly. But quite honestly, you can get around any zoning issue if you want, which makes me wonder, why do we have zoning? But that's a different thing.
Mhm.
So they were kind of thinking the phase looked pretty good enough, because it looked like a flat site, looked like there was space, and there's some zoning stuff, but you can get around it, so. Anyway, so that was them, right, but I mean, they were thoughtful, I didn't mean to make light of what they said, and then it went to finance committee, which was extremely interesting, and a little disconcerting, but, John Connolly said, well, I'll start. I don't think he's the chair, I think Carol still did, but she wasn't there. So he started and he said, I think it's way too soon to take anything off the table. I don't think that we've done nearly enough due diligence. The timeline doesn't make sense to me. Why would we rush into a project that is bigger than we've ever done as a town? And in fact, is bigger than all of the school projects put together in our lifetime. So
Wow, that's an interesting fact.
right, I think that was what he said, right? So, and I've heard him use that before, so, he said, I think we should continue to study, but we gotta dig in, we really need more information, it's not nearly enough information. So once he said that, and he speaks, right, so once he said that, the other members pretty much fell in behind him, would you say? Fell in behind him with the same thing, we really need more information, and there's a huge project, and this is, a lot for the town, and I think they're headed towards this is too big a project for us. But the schools are dug in on the 3 grades together,
Right.
and that's the only thing that would make this cheap, is if they split them up. So, until he got to Barry Kaufman, he was the last one to speak, and he said, I'm in an interesting spot, because I was on the field, so I was a big part of that, and we did think about what was gonna happen at DeFazio, and I really can imagine that we would rip that apart. That does not make any sense to me. And he said, I'm sitting in a different spot than my fellow finance committee members, but I saw what that project did for the town, and it brought the town together, and it brought people together. And I think it created a lot of camaraderie and erased divisions, he said, and I still see it today, and I can't imagine why we would take that away. So he had an interest, he was the only one that spoke up that way, so then it went to conservation was last, I forget that one's name, Jimmy, reached out to us,
She
but
did.
it's not, yeah, she was very well spoken, very eloquent, and she was the only one there because they had a meeting that night, it's Hercules
Oh,
meeting.
okay, yes, okay.
And, you know, when their meetings they have things that, you know, they're approving permits and people's decks and all kinds of stuff, so they have to stick to
Sure.
it. So she was there, she came over and talked to us a little bit and asked us a few questions at the beginning. And then she talked about, there's a lot of challenges there, there's wetlands, there's, article 97, 93.
It's got a.
And then she talked about MEPA, MEPA is a problem.
That's a newer regulation.
Yeah, and she said, "Don't-"
Massachusetts inbound, yeah, I looked that one up.
is that MEP area? Yes, so
Yeah,
she said, lots of problems, and I don't think it's not a good place to build that school. Why would you build it there? And she spoke very
She
eloquently.
brought up about, Paula decided about just to study the vibrations.
Oh, she did say if you build right next to the train track, you should study
Do the vibrations.
the impact of vibrations
I was
from the
like,
train.
it's
But I'm not sure it's,
On children?
I'm not sure it's that close.
On the kids.
I'm not sure it's that close.
I thought it was vibrations on the building, actually. You thought it was on the children?
It's on, it's like how kids react, it's not the sound, but their body reacts
Oh,
to
I thought it was on the
vibrations.
building. Okay, well,
I
anyway,
thought
so
it was
she
the
read,
building too.
yeah, I thought it was the building, but
Cause
I,
I was like, oh,
Oh, boy.
look at
And
that.
others, like.
So-
wait.
yeah, so those committees, right, so committees, boards, whatever, there's 6 of us applied, and then, Michael Bryan got up and closed the meeting basically and said, but now the PBBC is going to have their meeting, they're going to discuss.
But what happened at their meeting?
Well, we're not, so
Yeah,
I
that's where
stayed,
it's-
so
it's
most
interesting.
people, I'm gonna say more than half of the room left, right? You left.
No,
I
No,
left.
did you stay?
I stayed
You-
sat
Oh,
back.
okay.
I just
Uh,
moved away
So
from
you
the
sat,
Yeah.
so I thought, I'm gonna stay, you're already out, it's like
Yeah.
9:15, whatever it was, right? So I stayed, because the town manager's there, the superintendent is there, all of the school committee is there. I think either 2 or 3 select board members are there. 2 maybe,
It
2,
was, Josh and
Josh,
Marianne.
Josh, Marianne stayed, most of the finance committee,
Mhm.
planning board, I think.
They left, but a lot of the finance, like, there's some people that like crossed.
They might have,
They
so
left,
like,
yeah.
so like I left our table and sat in the audience to be right here, so.
Appointed group,
Sorry?
the appointed. That
CC.
talks, well,
Yeah,
the
so it's-
Pollard group is just like the finance committee on the group. It's right, it seems like it's not very well diversified from my understanding of the Pollard planning group.
Oh, the poly.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so now, so
Yeah.
let's finish this briefly. So,
Yes.
so now this continues, right? Although at least half the audience is gone. Because it seemed like it was over.
Mhm.
Well, it sure wasn't over by a long shot. So now, Richard Cream calls the meeting to order, and he starts with, I am gonna present a motion, and if this motion, fails, then I'll have another motion, and his motion was, should we continue to study DeFazio?
All seven options.
Also, yeah.
All 7 options,
Mhm,
you know,
right.
lead DeFazio, consider all 7 options, thank you. So he goes around and to a person, other than the principal from,
Tamara, the demo.
well, is she from Hiram?
No.
She's
No.
solid.
She's
Okay.
Pollard.
So other than her, they all say, yes, we should continue to study it and we should keep going. She voted no. So they all voted yes, but the conversation was very interesting. They have a lot of questions and they're asking, well, we should go forward with this. And David Woodkins puts his hand up. He said, I puts his hand up. And
So before you vote,
before you vote, he said,
Do they not know what the conversation?
that had just happened?
Yeah.
They were all there.
They were all there.
Oh, they were there. Oh, they
Like
were,
it never happened.
there were 7 boards, they were
Never
there.
happened.
So Superintendent Goodicant says, please correct me, he says, well, you should know that, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk if you keep this option on the table. There's risk that we don't get jurisdiction and we won't get it in time and it's going to delay everything. And he said, and we went through this on cricket. He said, and I'm feeling like there's probably a bunch of people that have cricket signs in their garage and we're gonna see them come out and we're gonna see DeFazio plastered across it. And then he says, I don't live in this community, but I'm gonna tell you, it was very divisive. And I would not want to go through that ever again. He said, we don't want to divide the community that way. And the cricket thing, and Mary Ann Cooley had alluded to cricket when she started speaking to the select board. She said, I am one who's scarred by cricket. And I said the same thing.
Oh, wow.
Because she was around, I was around,
Right.
Dan was around, a bunch of
Hank
people were
was
around.
around.
Hank was
Hank was
around,
around,
Michael
yeah.
Grice was around, so Buddha King says, I don't think we should continue with it because you're gonna get the jurisdiction thing, which
Mhm.
means they have to get 2/3 of town if we don't, change our mind, right? Town meeting, they have to get 2/3 of town meeting, as I understand it, and then they have to get a ruling from the state. So it's not gonna happen quickly, and they time.
Plus, it's gonna cost them a lot of extra money.
I don't know, maybe,
If it
you
gets-
would
yeah, they
think,
keep
you would
on
think
saying-
just the delays, so he says, I don't think we should continue, so they continue talking as if, in my opinion, if he didn't speak, he's the superintendent, right? So I have to say I'm shocked, so then they say, well, it would be a tight timeline because we're gonna study all 7, and look at Tina, is her name, from the architect, the designer, and they said,
FMH.
yeah, and
I kept trying to make her like say things, she's like,
they're like, do you have time, will you be able to study all
Plus, it's a-
7? And
It's a waste of money too.
and she says, she looks like kidding me, right? But she says very diplomatically,
Politely, yeah.
she says,
Yes.
yeah, do you have time? She says, I don't know, like very skeptically, right? And then Hank goes to the microphone and he says, if we pull it off the table tonight, we can submit a new list to the NSBA by midnight tonight. That was Thursday, and they will not think anything about it.
Sure, right.
They'll just study these things. So then so then this building committee has a conversation, well, we'll just study the ones we're really interested in, and just the other ones we'll just leave them. And Hank says, no, leave those on there, the rental, right, because they don't want to rent it. So, but we don't have to spend a lot, just do it, Jim, we spend a lot of time on those. And Hank says, no, we can't do that. And Tina, the designer, says, MSBA requires that you study every option in the same depth, to the same level. So you can't just say, we're really gonna focus on frickin' thumb, right? You were, am I? Okay, so,
no, I was in the back like.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were still there. So I'm thinking, so Hank says, you can't do this, and Tina says, you can't do that. If you have all 7 that stay on
So
this
you have to-
list,
you-
you
Well,
have
you
to
have
do
to all
it
equal
in
seven.
depth, right? So they're like, oh, well, again, they say to her, so will you be able to do that? Will you have time to do that? And she says, I don't know. So what have you heard a designer, right?
Yeah.
So they say, well, and then George Kent says, well, I'm not sure I can summarize him correctly, but he says, I think it's good for us to look at everything, and, I don't know why we're not doing the 6th grade, leaving the 6th grade, just doing the 7-8 option, because his granddaughter was one of the first, right? The first, and he said it was a great option, he goes, and parents like it, he goes, I don't know why, but, schools keep saying, this is our education policy, right? They're ducking on
Right.
that. So he says, so we'll stay for a couple more weeks, and we'll come to a conclusion, and we'll see what happens. So they all vote, and again, only the school principal voted no.
Yeah.
I don't get it though. It's like, they were in this meeting.
They heard what they
They-
heard.
Not
I think
listening to the town.
I mean, especially with the select board, I was very proud,
Right, but
really-
they took a
They
stand.
spoke like in practical terms, like, number one, it's gonna be very hard to get, you have to get an override. So if there's all these people against,
Yeah.
You're bound to
You're
go.
Right.
not
Like,
gonna
you
get
wanna-
over it.
Yeah.
And some of
That's
us
what I
have been
don't get.
through it before, and it was a little bit ugly. I mean, and I think Dan really was scarred, and Mary, so we didn't get a lot of pushback because we didn't want anything on cricket. They didn't ask us, they didn't ask for our permission, and it was quite a faux pas on their part. And in the school, Dan got a lot of pushback, and the select board got a lot of pushback. And the neighbors were up in arms, and what the neighbors did is they enlisted lots of people in town, and so I had people, and my kids would come into my house, and they'd say like, what's going on with cricket? We're seeing signs like, no cricket, stop cricket, what's,
Safe cricket, yeah.
right? So it was all over, it was like political signs, if you probably recall, right? So 2016. So Dan's like, I don't want to do that, and Mary Ann's like, we don't want to do that, that's not good for the town.
But
The
then,
folks on SBC,
but what was the point of the chairs, what was the point of that meeting, of that summit? To waste everyone's time
So
and
we
have them
wasted.
talk about it, and then they would just do what they want,
There
because
was-
any of the
Did it
feedback,
go over here?
literally. But really, what was the point? I thought the whole point, which
Was to give clear
Dan
direction.
shared, during the chairs meeting was the point of that was to determine, to get consensus as to whether or not we should be pursuing
Right.
Pollard.
I would agree.
That was
and I
done
was-
and there was a decision and a consensus and it was not agreed that we should move
Right.
forward. I don't understand.
it was
how that
very
is
You
in
could
town.
argue that, like, there was a split decision, because like you could read the FinCom and the planning
Right.
board one way or the other. But like they
It's
didn't,
4-2, right? There's.
Well, you have
But-
7 boards, so
But it's a question of what to get approved.
but they weren't, they were
Right.
just like, it felt like they had a meeting as if they were in silo.
Yes.
Right, like they had,
Yeah.
they just started at 9 and had missed all of the 2.5 hours before that.
I think
So it was amazing to me.
unbelievable.
No, I haven't talked to anyone else about it. I left first thing Friday morning and I got back last night. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what Peter O'Neill was possibly gonna write in the Observer.
Oh, yeah, that's the other
I'm
thing,
really
yes.
hoping to see, I was
yeah,
like,
special edition.
that morning.
Yeah. I mean, he was there all night taking notes, but there's a lot that went on, so I don't know how we will synthesize that
But
down.
it's so
Now,
disappointing
It
that
is
that
very
was the way that the
disappointing
town
that we went to give our,
decisions made. That's a lot of people's time that were
Wasted.
actually in that meeting.
right,
I mean, it's
to
almost like
provide
they don't want
thoughtful
this school to
input.
be built, because if they keep this up, there's just gonna be such dissension
no,
in town.
I think that
And
they are,
just to pass the override is gonna be it's gonna be a big deal, it's a lot of money.
right, so
It
they
is.
need us to all be on the same page, they don't need this argument about jurisdiction. So I don't, now, we haven't heard from anyone, right, no one has called us, I don't know if you had any read from Katie King, I mean, I would have loved to talk to her and say like, King, you can
I
read
didn't get
this,
it, I
but-
saw her today, but I didn't
Yeah,
get it.
but you know what, so we don't do things out of school, right? We do
Right.
things, we're open, maybe we're not diplomatic, well, you know where you stand with us, so I think we proceed right now, keep an eye on what they're doing.
Right, I mean,
You know, they really, I don't know what the plan is, they're gonna continue to study this, I can't see how they're gonna be successful if it's like a shotgun approach, right? And you need to narrow it down.
It's like totally ignoring.
And they had to do it that night, and I think they had to submit something by midnight on whatever that date
it's
was.
because there are timelines that are all important and if they just,
Right.
they don't wanna block the
Now, the
system.
finance committee seems to feel that they just haven't done their due diligence, and they've compressed the timeline.
Right, but they were saying we should push it out.
Right, but
Yeah.
they wanna push it way out, like.
They were
Oh, the
like-
whole project,
Well, I
oh,
think that they're
okay.
saying.
They're
Do
saying-
it properly.
They
They're
were
saying, right, like,
Yeah.
look at the whole
dig
thing,
through it out and we're
Right.
not gonna make this date,
Right.
and we're gonna, we
and
should move
we,
it.
and we know that, I think we know, right, that they really are gonna build at DeFazio. They haven't thought out what that does to the facility,
Nope.
and how it'll be accessed, and how it works, because it's not gonna be simple.
And then,
Right.
then
And the other map, and there's a lot of costs, like, we know there's a lot of costs that aren't included in there. My opinion is way
Not just
undervalued,
seating,
right?
it's not right.
Right, so they just haven't done it. They just haven't done a good job, and I think that's what John Connolly is saying, like, how can we possibly do this huge project and you haven't done a thorough job? Like, you need to dig into the costs, and they haven't done that. So that's where the finance committee is coming from, and they would push it out, I think, a long way, because they
They
really
would?
want to study
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I mean,
right?
they were basically saying this is like like you said, a 50-year lifetime.
50-year,
decision.
right,
We
right.
need to do this
I want
right.
to say I was the first one that said that.
You were.
People
Yeah,
have
you can
grabbed it,
copyright it.
right?
And they were basically saying like, so we have to bump it out, let's bump it out, let's really.
Right,
take it.
now we're saying, because we're, you know, it's nice being Park and Rec, because we're pretty narrow focused,
Yeah.
right? And I, you know, I pointed out, listen, our responsibility is to be the stewards of our, well, you know, you guys know all this stuff, and so, but it's a 50-year decision to build that building here, it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's not changing in our lifetime. And Dan said in his presentation, so what did he say on purpose, because I kind of think he did, I said, well, what do you think? He said, you know, so we build at DeFazio, we knock down the Apollo building, that whole property could be fields or recreation, or really the use could be whatever the community wanted. So they asked a question, I put my hand up and I said, what do you mean by that? Because we were told it's gonna be fields. He goes, well, there would be some fields, but it could be whatever the community wanted. Well, that's not, so I think he did that on purpose, but
Just to
because
kind of
he's
stir
a,
the pot.
what do you think? 'Cause he's
Well, they're also thinking of
It
not moving
seems
the
like-
gym and making it.
a, right, maybe,
Well, yeah,
right,
there is a lot of
Yeah.
conversation about turning it into a, like,
another building.
like a,
The gym,
Facility, like a,
like something that we would operate.
Yeah.
Like a
maybe,
community
right.
building or whatever,
Right.
why can I not
I
find the
know,
word?
communities, yeah.
Whatever.
So he said that, but that to me was a flag, wait a minute, you know, you're showing the community what you've got so far, is that's all fields, because that's gonna be the community, they're gonna say, well, what's Park and Rec's problem? They're coming out with more fields, what's their problem? Which we did see a few of those comments, very few, but,
Right,
Well, and I did, I keep saying like, you can't keep giving us fields without parking.
Exactly.
Yes,
right.
You
yes.
want, like,
Like,
don't
don't-
tag it,
Sure.
don't pair
Yeah.
it, like, there's
Yeah,
nowhere to
I
park.
said, I will never tell you that we have enough fields, we do not, but if you hand me 3 fields, you have to give me like a parking garage.
Gigantic
Right.
parking lot.
and they have to be good fields, I said this, George can't call me last week, and I said, listen, you don't have a history of giving us good fields.
Mhm.
And so, he's like, well, they would build the fields, I said, well, guess what? When we go out for bid for fields and athletic facilities, these design firms that you use don't never come.
Yeah.
We would never look at it, because it's not their expertise.
Mhm.
That's great, they're good at buildings, they're good at schools, they don't do fields, so don't tell me they're gonna give me great fields, because we already know it's unlikely.
They're gonna sod it. and say,
Right,
"Here
here
you
you
go.
go.
Yep.
Do some
Right,
headers
right.
and that.
Oh,
So it won't be a one.
It's flat, you're good.
Right.
And it's not really flat.
No.
Right, it's not
It's like,
flat.
oh, it's
Yeah.
not on a hill and like.
It is, it's a slope, right, it's a slope. So it was very interesting. Now, on the way out, someone stopped me and she sat through the whole thing and she said, well, what does this mean? What will you do next? They can't go forward at it. And she said, why did they do that? And I said, to her, you would have to ask them. And she says, well, why would they go, she asked me, and I said to her, oh, I'm like, you heard me
Those people
speak.
for the auditorium were there.
Yeah, she was just, she was
Charlie, I
like,
think.
she was
Was it
a
Charlie?
She was one of them, yeah, but they're asking me like, well, what are they gonna do next? I don't sit on that committee, I
So-
don't,
I
so
don't know,
Cindy,
since the chair
so-
meeting was canceled too.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How come the golf course never comes up? It's like the best land in town.
They have a.
Well, they have a-
9-year
No,
lease.
no, they
they
don't.
have it, no, it's
No, they
not
don't.
nine.
The lease is up in 28,
They had a 25-year lease, I think.
20
Yeah, I
years,
think they're looking at it
28.
now.
28.
28, it comes up, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm not, I mean,
no, it's just like, it's right down the street, it's the nicest land in town. You could build anything you wanted with no problems.
well, so I like that it's a golf course, and full disclosure on.
No, I understand.
But, so of course the town doesn't own that whole property, right? The golf course owns a piece of that property and the other, and the town owns a piece of it, right? So some of
Yeah,
that
it's split,
property,
yeah.
it's split, right? Some of that property is owned by the golf course, but they don't own. it. And I can't tell you. the
They could build a
breakdown.
small part 3.
Oh, I don't know what they can.
Play that.
I mean, I don't know, that's a different, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a
I was
different,
just curious.
yeah, that's a different,
The questions I have though, and I just cover our bases here. We have special town meeting coming up in October.
Yeah.
Any group has missed,
This is
anything.
not, this is not.
got it. And when do we see the warrant? Like,
oh,
that's coming up.
it's
Oh, sorry.
available,
Oh,
if
it's
you
available
look in the
already?
selectmen, well, it's not available, if you look in the selectmen.
Well, the packet, whatever,
So-
whatever are the articles.
So if you look in there, look in this.
No, this October.
So if you look in the selectmen's packet, like for the latest meeting.
Okay,
It's in there, and because one of the things they were discussing, in
Tuesday.
they're talking about their position, so if you look, if you get a note that says the select board agenda is available here, and if you click and go there, it's in that
Okay,
packet.
Because they have to approve it.
Yeah, so you can see it, it hasn't been, it's
Got
been, the warrant is closed, so the articles are there. So what came out,
Is it even in
no, it's nothing going on
Yeah.
there, no, it's not in the state, in fact, compliance zone thing is also, it's in there, but it's gonna be withdrawn, right? Because
Again.
that,
Yes.
yeah, they still make more
They
money,
can't talk, the MBTA is non-responsive.
yeah, and they also can't figure out the cost of, the problem is, the golf course crossing, because that's private land. The golf course must own that piece, and so that would be,
yeah,
so that, they need a special culvert there,
boy,
and so that's a different cost, and I don't know, I didn't pay attention. But if you can't do that one, and so they still pull the whole there, maybe that's not really worth it. I don't know,
Sounds like it's a lot of money anyways,
it doesn't like,
the whole thing's gonna be.
yeah,
So as it stands, where we have communicated is that I don't think we need to do any more communication until we hear something that gets brought to our attention. I mean, there's no more, the chairs meeting that was for this Friday has now been canceled.
oh, it has been.
Yeah, it's
canceled?
been canceled for scheduling conflicts or I can't remember the terminology they use.
Unforeseen.
Unforeseen conflicts. So
Oh,
that chairs
interesting.
meeting will not be happening this Friday.
There is a PPBC meeting, is it next week? There wasn't on Monday. Is there? I think they might be one next Monday. Try to go.
So, but I
I
just,
would disagree.
oh, go ahead.
Around
Oh.
communication. Well, I think there needs to be communication to user groups. I feel very strongly that we need to be more actively engaging with user groups to provide an email address or who to contact if they have views about Pollard being built in Pond Defizio. I think feedback and public comment is what's going to help drive some of these ultimate decisions at this point. I don't think we as a commission are able to do anything more, but I think that we should be mobilizing user groups.
That makes
Yeah.
a huge amount of sense.
Funny you mentioned that. When I was compiling the numbers for Cindy, and more specifically, like the participation numbers of people in those respective user groups who are using DeFazio or Pollard, I had to explain to more than one user group what I was talking about.
Right, I don't think,
And
no.
I get it. It's probably only targeting some people, and like, I understand a postcard that got sent to everyone can probably get lost in the mail, no pun intended, but like, I think at least something, and we'll probably have more of an update at the field user summit and whatnot, but I don't know how we deliver that message besides drafting an email and just saying,
So before we go any further, I am remiss, Hannah pulled together some information for me that was fabulous, and she did it in one day, right? And it, I think she sent it to you folks today.
Yes, sorry.
That was not, from what I can tell, simple. That was not like just press a button and she put that spreadsheet together. So, I really appreciate Hannah, Stacy, but Hannah for putting that together. Thank you. It was helpful, and I could say, listen, we have an average of 1,500 athletes on there, each season, right? Spring and fall, 1,500. That doesn't count the people that come in from out of town. That doesn't count the spectators. So that was really helpful. So thank you, Hannah. I don't know what we could do, but it's a good point that she makes.
But I think just, it doesn't have to be, we don't have to come from a position of like sharing of views, but I think communicating that there's a hearing, right? There's a public hearing to talk about Pollard in
They've had
October.
one, there's another one
There's
coming up,
another one
right?
coming up. And it's just stating, in case you were not aware, or just informing that if you have an opportunity to share
yeah.
views, you know, just keeping it open, because I think this is a parcel of land that that group uses.
I mean, all the information that's posted online or talked about in meetings or emailed through all things, all public records.
Yeah.
If you want to draft an email and send it to the field user distribution list that we have, that we send out to like, hey, here's the field summit, hey, stop leaving your trash everywhere. I don't think there's any issue with that,
It's
more of like an FYI.
The meeting for public hearing
I mean,
for DeFazio.
The biggest user group is needing soccer. I think somebody should have a talk with Mark Riskin.
Well,
Oh, he's
He's
aware.
very
He
influential.
is.
to where because the school committee had to talk with him.
Right, because
Yeah, but
they're
I think we
promising,
should have our own talk with him.
yeah,
that-
they're promising extra fields, right? They're promising additional fields, I think.
I don't see.
You can't promise him anything.
You can't
All
promise.
right,
you
they're
can't
not
promise.
promising, but they're mentioning.
Yes.
Mhm.
They're looking
And
at
I
this new
don't get the
field.
sense that he
If
is all in
he's-
on that.
If he's, yeah, he's not falling
I don't
for
think
it.
he's biting.
No, it's not his first rodeo either, right?
Yeah, he's
right?
like,
Right. He's been here for a
He's
while.
like, I know.
So I would think we should sit tight. It could be.
We could start
be a
drafting
mistake,
a letter,
But I
just to
think-
have.
So I think this is, if I had to bet, I would bet this is going to go. That this is going to drop. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to take my life on it, but I would bet money on it. Because I just don't think there is enough support. And so maybe that building group wants it. I don't, George Kent, I think is kind of iffy. The principal voted no. Richard Green, he said he could envision a beautiful bucolic vision from Harris Ave all the way down to the back of that property. And it could be a beautiful park, a beautiful area. I mean, he went on and on, and I was like, well, where are the fields?
Yeah.
The promises fields.
Where's the
But that,
parking for?
so some of them have some idea of something very different, and I don't think, they're not thinking more fields for us, I'm just gonna tell you. But I just don't know that they have the support for it. And I really do think if the finance committee forces them to study it more, that there's a lot of issues to build into phase, there's a lot of additional costs, and you gotta explore those. Right, you really have to figure out.
Well,
what's
the
gonna
trouble with the DPW.
Right, right.
I seem more
right.
concerned about the DPW than the fields.
Right, well, and
I did get that
I,
impression
you
too.
know, and when I.
Because they know if they
They
take,
define-
they have to shut, they can't shut it down, so that means they automatically bump the whole thing out a year. Now, I'm not saying they should think of us the same way, but I mean, you shut down.
Was
No,
there,
DPW, yeah.
one quick question, when they talked about options, did they talk about the phasio on our jurisdiction? Or are they now just looking at building?
Oh, no, they're,
Both.
they're not,
Looking at both?
they're not retrenching from
Okay.
their from that footprint at all, which is amazing to me. Well, wouldn't you have thought that it's
Yeah.
like when
Well, I thought
They
they
did ask them
pivoted.
to look at it.
Yeah,
But
Which
it's,
Katie said they would not at the chairs meeting, for what it's worth. She said, do not, we should not be looking at DeFazio without that property. It has the same issues, like all the issues are the same. And then
right,
they
they just
said
have
no
to
to
like,
that.
because they just have to get away from it.
Exactly.
Wow.
But it never, it
But
hasn't
they
come on
didn't
as another
come on.
option.
Okay, so I was wondering
No,
if they
no,
changed
because
that.
I think they can't have them, they've got 7 options. And if you have to study all of those in depth, think of how in depth you're gonna have to study DeFazio and building the new school in the back of college, like those two are giant projects, in my opinion. And now in addition, you gotta study the other 5 options, right? And so, and the struggle that the SBC, I guess, school building committee, I'll call them, their struggle is, well, why would we study this ad reno thing? Because we don't wanna do it, and the designer is saying, tough.
You
It's
have
on
to-
your
you have to.
list,
It's-
you're
it's-
getting money.
yeah, yeah.
MSBA is requiring
Because
you,
they're required.
and you
That-
can't just
You
do
have
like,
to show the
yeah.
MSBA why this is not
So
an
you
active,
can't just do
yeah.
2 paragraphs, you look at it, and like, do it, move
We're gonna
on,
work
right? Right, so struggling a lot with that, and I think they're really trying to figure out a way around it. But what they did, just to, I mean, Chris knows this, because he got the memo, right, that said this was the vote, and it was, whatever it was, 6-1, and they sent that to the MSBA and said, this is where we are, and so we're proceeding. So that was the MSBA that night or Friday.
So the vote earlier meant nothing.
So the whole conversation
Something-
earlier
Really nothing.
Totally
meant
waste of
nothing, so the
time.
MSBA, unless somebody calls them up and says, hey, there's a lot of dissension, all they know is, oh, look, they took a vote, and there were 2 people absent, and 1 person voted no, and the rest of them, 7, whatever, voted yes. So if I were getting that, I'd be like, oh, so overwhelmingly, the community thinks this is great. And that's not what happened.
That's not.
Plus the
what
whole
happened.
select board was against it.
The select board and the superintendent and the designer and whatever, what his
And his
name, whatever he is, the build project, whatever his title is, project manager, like.
Mhm.
So why would you fly, I mean, I'm not saying that we haven't occasionally gone in the face of our director, I don't know if we've done it to Stacy. We used to do it to Patty occasionally, and she would whip us back, and she'd believe me, she'd get us back for it, and she would get, Well, with Patty, she would miss a meeting once in a while, and we would do a million things, right? And then she would come back the next time, and she'd have a list, and she's like, you can't do that, you can't do that. So we'd be all back to it, and we started, it was really quite funny,
Yeah, it was.
anyway. But it was like the teacher was out, and we had to substitute, right? And then when the teacher came back, she was like, no, you've got your original seats, and, whatever. So, but I just can't imagine that you would go against these people whose opinion is, to me, is really, should be held really.
Really heavily weighted, and it's gonna get out that the group, I mean, it will be communicated to the community of how.
Maybe how, unless it's in the Observer, who else is, I
So
don't think
we'll-
people are watching it.
All right, my question is, so this letter that, or whatever, the vote that the PVBC, SBC, whatever we want to call them, does that go anywhere, or is that just more of an internal town type of thing, or is that
That
being
thing that
sent?
went to you,
Yeah, is
that
that,
went to the MSBA.
okay.
That's how I
But
read
the
that email.
MSBA right now, the only people, or at least the point people on that project is the school committee.
No, no,
Because there's nothing being built yet.
right, but they're the people deciding whether or not they're gonna fund it. And my
Correct, but I
understanding
mean,
was
they're still
also-
talking with Gudikants, like Gudikants is gonna say, hey, yeah, I was at that meeting and I strongly opposed
I don't know.
building at
I
Tophasia,
don't know
like,
if
I
they did say
don't.
that. I don't know that if.
Well, like, then why would you say it in a public meeting, and if the MSBA comes up and asks you and says, talk to Gudikants, what do you think about building on here? And then he takes it back,
Well, I
why
don't know.
would you say, why would you
I'm
say
not
either
sure,
of
but
those?
So I don't think they will ask him because they have a document that
From the
says they
board.
voted 5.
But they also have a document from us saying that we opposed, that when we were told that,
But now this is subsequent. This is subsequent. I don't know, Chris, I don't know enough
No,
about the MSBA, I just think it's a little bit muddled, and I think if the MSBA does find out about what went on, and I don't know if they will, they won't, I don't think it would be good for Nina, right? And being honest,
Yeah,
we do want what's best for the town, right? We don't wanna look stupid, we'd be stupid, right? But I don't think that
And it's,
we're
and
No.
it does irk me though, then again, I know one of them, like Lisa, she was out on medical, you can never take that back, like, I feel bad.
She had
wasn't there.
surgery.
She had
I
surgery,
think that's,
but she's a voting member, and in the previous meeting that night said, remove it.
right,
And then her vote was not being counted because she was absent that night, that they wouldn't even take
Well, I
that
don't know
letter.
if she's on she's not.
Yeah, she is.
No,
She is on.
she
voting
is,
member.
her name
She
was
is.
listed there, that
Yes.
if you literally have
She is
somebody
a-
that says,
yeah, she's.
don't do this,
Yeah.
but then she can't physically vote
Right,
at that meeting, and it's not counted as an
I
absent,
know.
it's not a yea or a nay, but it's just like,
I
now
think
you're.
the two user people are Elisa and Tim.
Yes.
Right, so it's just
You're right.
kind of like, absent, they're not saying.
Right, so the
that's not
principal
school.
voted no. The principal,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
they're
principal
not
of the school
listening to
that they
the,
would get said, I don't wanna put it there.
I mean, I think if Good Kids came to us and it gave us a whole long thing, we would respectfully listen. We
Yeah.
would very, I mean, he's in that position for a reason,
Yeah.
right? So,
He's been there a long time, been through a lot, so.
yeah, and he's
It's not
also
like-
scarred by
Yeah, it's
So funny to hear that, Ron, because I thought, am I the only one scarred by cricket? No, but, and they took the brunt, we actually didn't get scarred because of this, what we wanted to be. So anyway, that's where it ended. I mean, if you got, I hope I.
No, I mean, it's just, I
hope I.
agree. I'm sorry, Jim, go ahead.
Well, it's weird that, what was it, Mary Ann Cooley, she goes, I was in the, I don't know which her, or some- she's in the supermarket, and she's approached by people every day
Yes,
about, you're not gonna do something to defies you.
right, she said
Yeah.
that,
I
yeah.
mean, it's like, so it's like,
She came over
and
and talked to us.
we need all the
yeah.
support we can get
Oh my gosh.
to
Right,
get
she
this
came
passed.
over and talked to us, and I said, listen, I heard from only 15 people last week,
Mm-hmm.
and they all said, no, don't let them build there, hold firm. I said, I know the schools are saying, we're hearing from they're hearing from their constituents, but we're hearing from us, and she said, oh, I've heard from more than that, I'm hearing from people every day, everywhere I go.
Yeah. Craig's getting strangers coming up, like, can you tell your wife to thank you for not voting me?
All right.
Someone came up, she's blonde hair, like, okay.
Oh, jeez.
And it doesn't ever wake down.
It's from my wife. All right, so what we'll do, so I agree, so I think we should at least start working on a draft letter, that if we need to reach out to the user groups, we have something ready to go, we're not getting into it at the last minute. I'd rather have it, not use it, than need it, not have it.
Right, and I think it's a good idea, I
So
just
have that
don't
ready to
know,
go.
I feel like we should watch it play out.
No,
because
I agree, that's the other thing.
I think they're, honestly, I kind of think they're going in circles right now, and I'm a little surprised.
agree.
They're very smart people, I'm surprised they're doing what they're doing.
And the last thing I would ask of our director or assistant director, and you've been great about doing this, if you get any other feedback or emails from any of the public, send it our way. I mean,
We, so whenever we get any email or voicemails, I send it to you. If it's on Facebook, I'm not looking at it.
cool.
The only reason I know it's there is because one of you or that one or somebody says, did you see this on Facebook? And I'm like, nope.
Right, so we're reading, and I said this in the meeting, listen, we've had comments, and we're reading Facebook too. We don't comment on it, but
Yeah, we
we're
don't, yeah.
reading it.
It's not worth it.
But I thought there were surprisingly few comments
Yeah,
on that
Agreed,
post.
that they were asking for engagement.
Yeah,
It didn't bite.
and there were 25 comments, and I
There
don't
was
think it
more
was,
comments in the Discord.
yeah, I don't, right, exactly. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it was even 10 people, like one person or two people
Yeah.
kept commenting.
It was like those two having a conversation there.
And there's some good support for our position.
Right, I thought
yeah.
so too.
People, so well written too.
Yes, Matt's doing a great
Right,
job.
he is a good
So,
supporter.
But, all right, it is 9:24. I know we've talked about this, but again, I think we just kind of hold steady, start working on a draft that we can do that for the user groups, and if we need to send it out, have it approved, and just like we did the last time. Do we have anything else to go over tonight?
What
Oh.
Hannah was putting up her hand,
Yeah.
like, I mean, right.
No.
Don't move
Sure, you
that.
sure? Okay, fantastic. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, wait.
Just want
Oh,
to
I'm
make
sorry.
sure, as of right now, everybody is available in the next meetings, and if not, the four meetings below, and if not, please email me so that I can be prepared to. Because I've been trying to get, now that I messed up the meeting agenda, I've been putting them out as soon as possible.
No, that's fine.
So it's
I am not
22nd.
on the 22nd.
So it's gonna be on a Wednesday,
All
right?
right, go one by one here.
One of them, yeah.
Just.
Yep. That was because of the town meeting and
The birthday, right?
your birthday, we didn't want to meet on
You
your
want to
birthday.
meet in birthday, because we like to have a cake and
Wow. Gonna flood you with milk cake?
everything. All right, so the 22nd, are there people who cannot make it?
I'm good for the 22nd.
27th, I'm good for. You cannot, okay.
10th. I'm good.
I'm good,
The 10th and the 24th are regularly scheduled.
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
The 24th is the week of Thanksgiving, so we usually half the time meet, half don't, but we can see where everything's
we
going.
should schedule it, yeah,
That's
so,
why I
yeah.
just keep it on there. Just-
And we don't know what's gonna be going on with this
Yeah.
project, I don't, for the life, I can't figure out where it's headed. They have that timeline, which they're trying to
We'd
stick
love to
to,
learn.
and some people think that's an art, one person said to me, that's an artificial construct. So
What,
they-
the timeline?
Yeah, that they don't, so,
The MSBA.
I don't know.
Well, it's to get in earlier to get a better chance to get funding. The earlier they go, then they can come back a second time.
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
I think so.
I, you know, I don't pretend to know what they are.
I just know it's a lot of money to talk about.
I can't.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, favor second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned. Thank you all very
Thank you.
much. Thanks, Anna.